Typical low-life thugs.
Also, you know what they call cheese in Paris?
What they call it?
Le fromage.
Le fromage, man. It's like those French guys have a whole other language.
Y'all can now be heard.
In honor of Mel, penis.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
In loving memory of Mel.
In love. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So true.
Oh, people are rolling the puzzle box check? Sure. Let's roll a puzzle box check. You've already opened the puzzle box, but if someone manages to roll the 500, I'll make Aubrey start the final boss fight by skipping their first turn to shit themselves or something. That sounds fair.
So how do I do this?
It's 5d100s.
5D hundreds, right? So /R and then 5. I'm so good at this.
You can also just use the click dice.
Oh, it's not super slow. Let's go.
Hmm. Yeah. Session. We love sessions. Anna might show up at some point. Who knows? I believe in Panda, though part of me hopes that this is the first time Panda misses a session. Because that'd be funny.
Because you've never seen it before.
Yeah.
You gotta know. You gotta experience it.
Yeah, and it'd be funny if we got Panda's first miss session on camera. But yeah, before we do anything else,
Roll.
yeah, I have missed sessions, and Panda hasn't. And it's been slightly delayed to some sessions, but before recap roll, behold our beautiful map, and prepare for it to be read now.
Oh.
Hi, welcome to the other map. You guys might have to move around a little since it's significantly smaller than the other, but Pleasant Valley also has the map, and it's red as shit because that's Pleasant Valley appropriate.
I see.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. Now y'all have the ability to see where the fuck you were going / where the fuck you've been. And yeah. Yeah. Someone spilled Kool-Aid on the map. That is the curse.
No. It's the curse.
So yeah. Anyway, ooh, last time. Who was here last time? I think Martha. Panda!
What's up?
You're late for session.
I know.
We just started. You're not too late for a recap, though.
Oh, no, I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind doing recap.
Yeah. No, we were just talking about the fact that you've never missed a session before. So I was like,
No, I think yeah, I was thrown off at the time. The time change.
Yeah. This is the first session after summertime resynced, so but yeah. Anyway, roll for recaps. I believe everyone with the exception of Bread is recap eligible.
Eligible. Oh, this is Pleasant Valley map.
Yes, new map.
The only reason I don't want it is because I don't know any of the characters' names.
Well, that'll be really
the
fun
NPCs.
then.
The NPCs. I have to describe everyone.
Ooh.
We're all about this.
Ooh, OG is
is it
picking.
me? Is it gonna be me? I don't know. Okay.
So
You pick who?
I get to pick.
I thought it was the lowest. Okay, I misunderstood.
So it's the lowest. However, we made the rule that if you nat 20, you got to pick someone instead.
Oh God. Well, you know what?
I am torn between picking a line or picking Shell because it is funny to have Shell recap and try and figure out who is who. So I'll pick Shell because also Shell hasn't recapped.
I've never done it. Okay. So I'm gonna be a little real. Also, the sessions are kind of blending together. I think I know
That's
what happened
perfectly
last
fine.
time.
You
But,
lose your recap virginity.
Okay.
You gotta get your recap virginity popped.
Okay.
See?
So, basically where we picked up last time, it was like, it was at the beginning. It was right where we left off the previous time.
Yes.
Where which is how that works, I know, but it was I'm trying to remember. It was we just pulled the stealth crew just pulled the gem that the merchant needed. Tevlock? Takluk. I was close.
You were close.
See, I pay attention. It's just my memory is poor. So Takluk had their gem. Previously, way before this session, had their gem stolen from them, and they needed to live, or thrive at least. So it was powering the mansion. So they yoinked it, and then the mansion shut down, and then Sorath's father came out, and I guess he's friends with Takluk, and he was like, "What did you do to my friend?" And he had a sword, and he was like, not swinging it at people, but he was like waving it around very, very creatively. I think was one of the words we described, used to describe. So, and then there was a long debate. I kind of lost track of it all because I don't know all the characters, so it was just like this. It was just basically the confrontation about what you did to Takluk, or what they did to Takluk, and probably other things that were also mentioned that I don't remember. Also, Ryzyuk was there. And is leaving the party due to things that happened before I joined.
Yes.
And then I think we communicated long distance. I used the spell, Panda used the spell. And some of us are already in town, question mark?
At this point, all of you have gotten down into Cœurzunft. All of you are staying at Le Boeuf Croissant.
Right. And so yeah, no, I think that's we made it to the buff, the beef croissant.
Yeah.
And now we're planning our next move / resting.
With the information that people have shared between them,
Yes,
Levi was able to dream walk into Takluk's dream, and Takluk was like, "Yeah, this shit happened like more or less immediately upon when I arrived, but I'm chilling." And Sorath, in the debate, what was figured out was that Emrys was pissed at Takluk because she assumed, kind of correctly, Takluk was the one who helped Sorath, run away from home. And she put Takluk in the hole, and there was Ambrosia that then took the crystal and used it to power the mansion. And Emrys did not know about that, or that the crystal was important in any way. And Anselm didn't know jack shit because he doesn't pay attention to the stuff that happens in his own house. And yeah, you guys are all now gathered at Le Boeuf Croissant.
Yeah.
And Takluk is asleep, recovering. Levi managed to make sure that Takluk is not in any critical danger, and Gunther did some extra healing to essentially take care of superficial, essentially bed sores and scrapes and stuff, and has been able to confirm all of the remaining damage is just mental exhaustion. Yeah. So you guys just need to give Takluk the time to essentially just sleep off and recover. they seem to be doing well and fine. Also, y'all did buy a boat.
We did buy a boat,
And
there was one more thing, which was the diplomatic immunity.
yes, and the stealth boys have diplomatic immunity. As long as they are here. Which means if y'all get into some trouble and the guards in any of these towns come fuck with you, as long as you can say like, hey, I'm currently doing my best to protect Taklook's Slyscale, you can essentially just yell diplomatic immunity and the cops have to leave you alone. So, yeah. This will probably mostly be relevant for potentially Gin. But as long as you can justify your line of actions being part of helping / protecting Taklook, it doesn't mean you're immune from getting in trouble with the cops, but it essentially means, like, the guards have to make a choice. Do we want to put you in jail? If so, are we willing to accept that the Virlus, the much significantly more powerful kingdom directly to our south, will see it as a hostile action? It essentially gives you immunity from most crimes. Yeah. Essentially, just don't do anything that would make Pleasant Valley want to go to war over it. Which more or less don't commit, like, a mass bombing or kill any royal people. Beyond that, they're probably pretty fine with it. But yeah. So, you guys are at Le Boeuf Croissant, a neat, though not very luxurious inn. It's like middle of the road. This was where Taklook decided to get a room while trying to find y'all. And, yeah. This is way too cheery music for this horrible place. Let's go to this one. So, the group is gathered. Taklook is sleeping and recovering. Your plan is to head to Kimpur at the very least. Because you guys and Anselm, Sora's dad, agreed that it was probably best for Taklook to at least not be in Cœurzunft. And you guys have to go to the Devil's Tomb, which is visible on the map. You just have to zoom in a little. It is just... it's north and a little west of Bouchon. Which, you guys had the option of, like, trying to get there through the denser part of the forest, which we did cover would be technically, potentially, slightly faster by, like, a handful of days. But risky, because if you have a single horse not make the trip, suddenly you might start taking longer. And we covered the idea that I'm pretty sure everyone in the party can make it, but y'all agreed that you wouldn't trust this party with keeping 7 horses alive for 2 weeks. So the plan was to take the boat you guys have bought and ride it down the river from Cœurzunft again to Quimper, and then from Quimper you can take the boat up to Bouchon, and around Bouchon, because that area is a logging area, it is easier to travel, and you'll have to travel through less woods. And you can get to where Ambrosia pointed out on the map the Devil's Tomb supposedly was.
Wait, I didn't hear this part. I didn't agree to not travel on foot. I didn't know that was an option.
Well, you were the only one in the party who wanted to travel on foot.
Okay, I put my... Gin puts his hands up. We should travel by foot.
Yeah.
No? Alright.
Yeah, everyone else in the group that was there last session essentially said, I don't think it's worth risking potentially saving 2 or 3 days. But if a single horse dies along the trip, we might add a week to it. And it's more dangerous. And it's going to be less comfortable. And we'll have to leave Taklock here.
Better sightseeing, though. Guys, think about it. No?
Sora,
Why?
could you make a nature check for me? With advantage. You would know, because it's a very important thing to know for someone who has had regency over Quimper. The most dangerous parts of Pleasant Valley tend to be either the mountains or like the deep forests. But the actually most dangerous part that people travel is the river to Bouchant, a little up, kind of around the fork just below Bouchant. It is there where one of Sora's duties was to contract monster hunters and send there. So Sorath would know that there's a decent amount of big, spooky, scary monsters there, especially. In the densest parts of the woods, the danger... Sure, there are dangerous monsters, but the danger is more... Well, if your horse trips over a rock and you get stuck there, the monsters are gonna find you when you're exhausted and hungry. So... Sorath could supply Gin with, this is where the big spooky river monsters are known to be.
You're saying one thing and saying the other. But fine.
So, okay. Gid has agreed to the boat trip, which leaves for the end of this day with you guys saying that you were planning to leave on your boat in the morning. It allows anyone to do some last minute things around town with a couple of hours you have before needing to sleep. So if anyone wants to have anything done in town just for the sake of it, I'm gonna say that I'm gonna make the executive decision and say that Mel is not here, but Crystal would 100% spend that time to go spend the evening/night with Minya, because I feel like that is what Mel would do with the time anyway.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense. So, Crystal's gonna do that. So,
I'm gonna see if I can sneak. I don't know if I will sneak actually. If I see, I'm gonna see if Ansem wants to talk. Make more poison on the last hours.
You could probably make it back up to the manor and then make it back again. You probably wouldn't have a lot of time at the manor.
Was Ansem coming with us?
Anselm's coming with you, but they are probably leaving not immediately in the morning. They might leave a little later. So they'll meet up with you guys in Kimper. But they're not traveling with the same ship as you. They might be there in the morning. But Anselm essentially went like, I want to travel to Kimper as well, so that if you guys travel on to Bouchant and Devil's Tomb, I'll stay in Kimper and I'll make sure Takluk is safe. So you guys don't have to drag Takluk with you out into the wilderness to keep them safe. It's just that it's... And Sorath would know this. There's a lot of freedom in being able to say, oh, I'm traveling with my adventure group, fuck all the rules. If Anselm says, I am traveling to Kimper, immediately what happens is all the staff goes, oh, we will prepare a most comfortable journey for you, my lord. And a bunch of shit happens, and they will pack, like, half his stuff, and it takes longer. And it's more annoying. In that sense, he has less freedoms about how quickly he can go places. But if Gin wants to go up there and maybe like spend an hour with Anselm and then head back down, yeah, sure.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Gunther stays by Takluk's side. If Blinken or Levi or Target want to do any like little bits of business before leaving anywhere or before going to sleep and then leaving in the morning, feel free to.
I can't really think of anything.
Valid.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay. That is perfectly valid. I just want to make sure that everyone's been given the opportunity. Sorath wants to spend some time with Hyacinth. Which Sorath might eventually like at Le Boeuf Croissant once like everything's been figured out and all the information's been like talked over. Sorath will probably eventually be like, okay, I'm allowed to think about other things. Shit, Hyacinth. And it won't take much longer than Sorath arranging for like transport before a carriage will arrive with a few of Sorath's staff and Hyacinth will arrive after figuring out where Sorath has gone. Hyacinth will step out with some of their belongings, as well as essentially a wide rolled leather belt. It's been like rolled into a cylinder. They will show up with feel free to do an insight check, Sorath. If you want. Hyacinth arrives with some of their stuff. Feel free to do an insight check if you want to. Sorath recognizes a little bit of like Hyacinth there's like a little bit of like annoyance of Hyacinth. Essentially, this shows itself relatively quickly as Hyacinth's like, Your Highness, you forgot all of the cursed medication I just made for you before you left. I have decided to bring that with you because I think it's useful for you. But there's also like a not very actively hidden layer of excitement. Hyacinth is seemingly at least happy to be able to get out of Cœurzunft. Sorath is familiar with Hyacinth's history. She really liked doing field work. That was her thing. She would hear about a weird curse, travel out into the middle of nowhere, and figure it out on location, usually getting into some amount of trouble. So, she at least seems to think of this whole situation as a little bit like that. So, Sorath gathers that Hyacinth is pretty fine with current circumstances. And with Sorath's words, Hyacinth will respond, not to worry. I believe that this situation can be worked with. There is much to be gained from a situation that is perhaps less than ideal. It is where we find innovation. I intend to at least travel with you most of the journey. Will of course respect your wishes as to how far I'm allowed to tag along, but I believe it is beneficial for me to be by your side so that I can keep monitoring your condition and adapting the formulation as you travel. Sorath's knowledge and experience traveling, it would at the very least be easy enough to have them tag along to Bouchon. From there, maybe they could tag along as far as the carriages go, because there are smaller towns at the edges of the forests that are continuously set up and moved as the deforestation of the area kind of expands through. So, and yeah, you do have to leave your carriages behind once you actually go to trek through the denser forest up in the north. So, Hyacinth expresses the benefit of being allowed to observe Sorath for a longer period of time in a multitude of different contexts and situations, and as long as Sorath is fine with it, she would like to shadow her. Essentially just tag along wherever Sorath goes. Cool. So, Sorath, does Sorath want to read the book now, or is she waiting until they're like traveling and leaving on boat? Okay. Le Boeuf Croissant has a decent amount of people visiting at the moment. So it's a little cramped. Sorath can, if they want to, go somewhere else for more privacy, or Sorath can flash some Belrose cash to essentially just buy out the place for the night, and all the people who already have rooms, well, they would of course need to be compensated for having to find somewhere else to stay, but there's always a price. And Sorath feels comfortable in being able to just hand wave that cost. So it's up to Sorath if Sorath wants to find another place or just buy out this place. If you want privacy at all, because it is kind of cramped. Yeah, there are other places in town. There are inns and taverns and little hostels. There are also places that are the high society have lovely manners that they would more than welcome the idea of Sorath using some of their more private areas for a bit of a stay while awaiting ship travel in the morning. Sorath has plenty of options. There are a lot of people who would, if given the option, fight tooth and nail to host Sorath, as Sorath just wants a nice and quiet place to read for the evening. Okay. Yeah, if Sorath just wants to stay at the Le Boeuf Croissant and have a place to read somewhat privately, that can be done. Just probably has to go spend a little Belrose cash to just have like a little area, but not more than like a couple of gold. Essentially, Cœurzunft is kind of cramped in general now because there are so many people traveling. So it's more just like spending a little bit of gold to be like, hey, I would like this corner. This corner is mine now. I'll buy up these tables. I'll buy up this room. No need to apologize. That's it's easy enough for Sorath to do. It's just how much Sorath would want to clear out. Because Sorath can also just be like, hey, would everyone here like a platinum to go find somewhere else to stay? Hyacinth would probably know someone. Let me. Hyacinth knows a couple of people. People who are research partners and stuff that Hyacinth has worked with kind of continuously here. That they can definitely go to stay at. There are a couple of the more eccentric merchant nobility here that have book collections and small libraries of interesting stuff. Hyacinth can definitely be Sorath's guide to them taking a carriage, staying at some petty lord's private library. Kind of in the same way that Gin in Wencash spent a lot of time at a noble lady's private library collection. So yeah. So I can definitely stay there and read. Let me just roll for... Hyacinth will not outright... If you're staying at this kind of place, no gold whatsoever. Because these are people who would see the idea of being able to say, Sorath Belrose spent the evening in my library as more valuable than any money you could give them. These are people who value status more than anything. Hyacinth will not say outright, but through explaining who they are recommending perhaps staying at, that this person is not particularly fond of the Belroses in general, and does not have any, but doesn't mind Sorath. Essentially, someone who doesn't like how stale and stagnant things have been. Sorath knows the type. There are people who would prefer more constant and risky change for profit. And a lot of people see Sorath as a possible way to achieve that. A lot of merchants see Sorath's actions in Kimper as evidence that Sorath is more willing to stray from the norm. Though Sorath would also know that with that, there's always a sense of them probably seeing Sorath as easier to perhaps manipulate or influence than Emerson's, especially Ambrosia. But as long as Sorath's aware of that, they don't tend to be too much of a hassle. So yeah, Sorath can definitely stay there, use their library as a reading space, and if Sorath wants to stay the night there, they would be happy to host that as well. So yeah. In that case, I'll just cover Gim. Can definitely head back up to the manor.
What?
And takes you a little under an hour to get back up. And by the time you get back up, you'll see that not all of the manor is fully lit again, but most of it. Essentially, the second and third floors seem to be mostly lit back up again. And some of the higher floors seemed to not be fully set up, but it seems like they have alternatives for magical power, just nothing as all-encompassing as what Teklock's crystal offered to them.
Is the glass still on the floor or on the lawn?
Things have been cleaned up. In the time since, they have replaced the window that Gin jumped through. The glass has been swept up. It is possible to tell that it's a new window. They probably will have to repaint it to fit more, because the other windows have been hanging out there in the rain for a long time, so you can tell that this one is new. So they're probably going to touch it up to make it match the wear and tear more accurately, but they have fixed things very quickly.
Wowie. Alright. Gin's gonna enter. And try to go to the garden.
Yes. You can just walk around into the gardens. There are guards that kind of see you approach, and their instinct is kind of like, oh, halt, who goes there? And then they recognize you. And there's a moment of hesitation as they look at each other. Give me your choice of persuasion or intimidation based on whether or not you want to be like, guys, chill, it's me, or if you want to be like, get out of my way, I know your boss. What's your energy?
I'm thinking Guinness is grinning madly. So I guess persuasion.
Okay.
Persuasion.
Okay.
30-20.
They look at you and kind of just go like, sure, just go through. You're friends with the boss, we're not going to question it. You do have a little guard escort that follows you, probably mostly to make sure you don't sneak around and cause more trouble, but once you get to the greenhouse gardens, there is Anselm is there. He seems like a little distant, like his mind is elsewhere. Feel free to give me an insight check.
Ooh, insight's pretty good for me. No, 30-20.
Hey,
He all the dirty 20s.
he seems like he's in there trying to like work on a hobby to distract himself. You figure he probably feels a combination of angry and guilty at everything that's been happening, and that he's trying to distract himself, but it doesn't seem like it's working much. But
He calmed down a lot. He calmed down since then.
He's calmed down. He's just trying not to think about things right now. Probably because there isn't much he can do.
No, I asked him. He calmed down a lot.
He'll kind of notice you from your voice. Go, willkommen in the... It's calmer. Definitely calmer. Look, are they doing okay?
Takla's doing a lot better. They're still sleeping though. They haven't woke up.
Okay. Good.
I think I would have shared with Gin when I did that dream spell on Takla.
Yeah, I assume you
well,
shared the information of the dream spell with everyone.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
fire everyone who's around, so yeah.
I remember that. I'm assuming Takla's
Levi went into Takluk's dream when Takluk was sleeping there, and essentially talked with Takluk, and Takluk was like, I'm feeling fine. And essentially all Takluk remembered was showing up in Kimpur, and there were a bunch of people from the royal family being like, we've been expecting you, come with us. And then once they got to Cœurzunft, he was just essentially Takluk was just chucked in the oubliettes immediately. Didn't get to meet anyone.
straight to jail.
Yeah,
Don't
straight
pass
to
go.
jail. Yeah,
Went straight past, didn't pass go.
don't collect. So essentially for Takluk, nothing crazy happened. Essentially they were just stopped in Kimpur and taken directly to Cœurzunft, probably directly by Emrys's people. Emrys never talked to them, nothing. It was just immediate. So,
Yeah. That is kind of crazy. See your friend in the dungeon for all this time.
I guess this is one of many wake-up calls that I need to pay attention more to what happens in this house.
Yeah. I imagine. It made me realize too, one thing. My family is way nicer than I thought.
If you're measuring your family based on this family, yeah. I figure most families would be at least less complicated than this one. You know what the funny thing is? I still think I like this family more than the one I have back in Fearless.
Oh, Fearless.
Yes, that's my family. The Soundwatcher family is part of the royal family of the Virlus, just to the south. If you think this family has a lot going on with it, think of the Virlus as similar to this, but there are 7 branch families. And my grandfather is the king, and he has probably I would guess somewhere in at this point 90, maybe even 100 grandchildren. And most of them are like this, and he just gestures to the manor.
Yeah. Well, I have a big family, but if 9 of them were gremlins like this, I'll have a headache.
Yes, and then you have to remember that the king, he is quite old, so he has both great-grandchildren, and I believe at this point some great-great-grandchildren. I was supposed to learn the entire family tree, but the second I was old enough to stop keeping up with my lessons, I very much did so.
Actually, that was it's out of character, but like if you're just immortal and like you just keep having children that are immortal, that sounds annoying.
Yeah.
They just keep coming.
The king of the Virlus is in his like mid to late 90s. He has been the king since, I believe in the lore, he's been the king since he was 17. And he had his first child slightly before that. And he has had 7 wives. So those are his official wives. And then he's had a bunch of children illegitimately. And can give me a history check to see if they know anything about the Virlus or the Virlus king.
The only way I can get a dirty 20 is with a 20, which is not 30. Not 20. Okay, so
No, 4. You got 420.
34.
Sure. You don't know much about the Virlus. I would say with a 4, you probably have heard bad things about the king.
It's a king.
Yeah, the king is... You've heard bad things in this way that, like, children sing songs about him being an asshole. Like, you don't know much at all, but he's not a good person. He is not someone like Ambrosia or Gideon who has like villainous plans or anything. He's just a really, really shitty person in a position of power who loves to abuse it.
I imagine.
Yeah. And yeah. Not a great guy. So you figure probably also not a great grandfather. So yeah.
Don't worry about Sarah, though. We'll keep her good company.
Weirdly enough, I worry less about Sorath now than I did before. It seems they have grown a lot. They are someone a parent can be proud of for sure.
I did come for a little bit impure intentions. Want to make more poison?
Oh, yes, please. Anything to distract me from the family dinner I am pretending not to have heard is happening. So, Gin and Anselm spent some time making poisons. Give me a poisoner check with advantage, and then roll a d100 for me. Essentially, y'all are making a random poison with some of Anselm's ingredients.
Double natural 2100.
21, okay. And
Wait,
then a d100.
D100. Okay. 86.
86.
86, okay. Let me check a thing.
Do you actually have a poison up, like a random poison thing?
Not exactly a random poison thing. I have more like a random effect thing.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So, 420. I will allow you to pick what type of poison this is, whether it's contact, injury, ingested, or inhaled. So, is it a poison that you have to touch to someone, a poison you have to hit someone with? Is it a poison you have to put in their food, or is it a poison they only have to breathe? So,
I really like injury poisons.
yeah, go for injury poisons then. Essentially, some different types of poisons are easier to use than others. So, like, the ones that have the best DC are ingested poisons, because you have to make someone eat it before it can take effect. Then after that is injury poison, and then touch poison, and the least, like, the thing that has the lowest DC is inhaled poison. But obviously it's way easier to get someone to breathe something than to get someone to eat something, you know? So, you make an injury poison.
My team won't like me if I made a breathable poison.
Okay, you make a poison that, make notes of this. It has a DC of 16. And its effect is that it stiffens, not paralyzes, but it stiffens the limbs of whatever creature has it. So it will lower all the creature's speeds by 15 feet. And the creature will lose the ability to hover. Essentially, it can't, like, if it's in the air, it can't end its turn in the air. It has to land. It can fly, but it cannot stay still.
The air. Oh. It grounds them. Or essentially grounds them.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, that's a cool one.
Also, the creature will have disadvantage on using any spell that requires a somatic component. So,
creature has disadvantage on spells with
on casting spells with somatic components. So a spell that you have to move your hands to cast. Let's say, I don't know if Fireball has a somatic component, but let's say Fireball does. If it tries to cast Fireball at you and they're affected by this poison, then you will get advantage on the save because they're casting the spell poorly. Because you're essentially, they can't move their fingers well because you put the poison on them.
Gotcha.
Doesn't do any damage, but it'll prevent something from staying in the air, it'll make it move slower, and it'll be shittier at casting spells that use movements. So cool. Feel free to name this poison whatever the fuck you want.
Diffrick.
What did you say?
I said Stiffrick.
Stiffrick, okay. Cool. So, Gin takes care of that. Gunther, while you're watching over Takluk, I'll allow you to make 2 out of 3. You can make medicine check to try to get more information about Takluk's condition. You can make religion check to try and essentially glean a little insight into their state and like their spiritual state, and I can allow Arcana to maybe get more of an understanding of the magical shit that's going on with Takluk. I'll allow you to make 2 out of 3 of those if you want. For Gunther. If Jewel is here. Medicine, religion, or arcana. 2 out of 3. I'll allow. You can probably make them at advantage. Because you'll have people who can assist you. Especially if Levi is also there. So Levi is not doing anything particularly different. Then, after that, unless anyone else has thought of anything they wanted to do, I'll cover some of the stuff that is in the books, or wants to read. Ooh, okay. So, from that religion check, with Takluk staying there kind of in a dreaming state, Gunther can tell that it's not necessarily a full sleep. It's more like a half unconscious state. Their mind is responding slightly to things around them. It's like they're drifting a little bit in and out. They probably are semi-conscious for some of it. And Gunther's kind of, in a way, like, divine connection to the Deluvi, the feelings of, like, regret and fear and anguish. There is a notable, like, sense of, like, solemnity, like almost like mild mourning that's kind of slightly lessening the more it seems Takluk is recovering. It's like there's some, like, sadness to Takluk that seems to... you're not sure if it's entirely like natural. There's probably something magical to it that seems to go away or get better the more in tune they are with their crystal. It's like the crystal is keeping them happier than they otherwise would be. As for the Arcana, Gunther is not the most magically trained person, but out of this group, probably is, maybe with the exception of Flinken, the one who is most diversely familiar with magic. Not necessarily as a practitioner, but someone who has, because of what they've been training for, because of the people they've been around. Gunther has seen a lot of magic of different kinds. Gunther has seen natural magic. Gunther has seen a lot of divine magic, a lot of arcane magic. This crystal isn't any of those. Gunther is very, very, very sure that this crystal isn't from this world. It does not seem similar to... It does not seem similar to the natural or divine magics. There is nothing that has any hints of the old gods. There's also nothing here that seems similar to what Gunther has known about Levi and Gin's interaction with stars. It does not seem similar to what Astrophel was doing, as it seemed Astrophel was involved with stars. It is definitely more in the realm of the arcane. Can you just give me, like... Let's make it a history check with advantage. I don't need a very high roll for you to get some information. Yeah. I'm looking for like a 12 or above for a little bit of information. And if you roll really well, you'll obviously get more. 17. It is superficially a little similar to Lincoln's magic, though definitely not the same. Sure, yeah.
It was actually me. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, it was actually Flinken.
There. Are we going back to the Brad is the big bad evil guy
Yeah.
conspiracy
Naturally.
theories
I'm
again?
Actually, Of course. I've always been holding back the team.
It is not hallowed, it is not fiendish or celestial, it is not undead. None of it pings on your divine sense. It is... With the history check, it is similar to... There's some like mechanically, it is similar to what Flinken's got going on. And with Risyuk in the building as, like, this is happening, Risyuk can probably, like, give input and say, like, there's something similar to how, like, the mechanical manipulation of the ether works for Flinken and for this crystal. Though it's definitely not working by the same rules. And with the 17 history, the best explanation that Gunther has for it is it's fucking fairy tale magic. Flinken, I believe Flinken, Levi, Arjit, Risyuk, they're all in Le Boeuf Croissant since they didn't want to do anything else, so they're still here. For everyone on the, like, meta level for the players, not for the characters, this crystal is Fey.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you know what? That actually makes sense. Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely fetch Flinken. Flinken,
Hey, Flinken,
get
go fetch.
fetched.
I catch the stick in my mouth.
So you fetch... Gunther fetches Flinken. You can do an Arcana check as well if you want, Flinken. You want to put advantage, because there are a lot of people here helping. Anyone who is here who wants to be part of this can be part of this.
I mean,
I'm stupid.
I mean, I could give him a
17.
a guidance too.
I got
Yeah,
all 18
roll a
total.
d4 on top of that. If Target wants to look at the weird crystal, they can also do an Arcana check
Make
with
it 21.
advantage and potentially add a
21.
d4 to it as well.
Okay.
Natural 20. You keep calling for it. Eventually, it happens, and then you look cool.
Yeah, natural 21. Yeah.
Okay, and add a d4 to it.
Yeah.
Because you're being blessed.
Blessed by the Almighty.
Okay, let me just...
Oh.
Blessed with a rag.
Excuse me. I essentially, Risyuk goes into Gunther's check as part of that, because, like, you have people helping. So Risyuk being able to say, like, yeah, just on a purely, like, ether manipulation arcana side of things. Yeah, this is similar to the way Flinken is manipulating magic. Essentially, significantly less controlled than the magic that happens here and the magic that the devils and the celestials do. Let me real quick do this, because I need to... Okay, I'm adding bread as Le Boeuf Croissant to the stream. There we go. Now everyone can look at that. So, Flinken looking at the thing, there is definitely, like, hearing what Gunther is saying and what Risyuk is adding. Yeah, that does make sense. It has that, like, wildness to it. The way Risyuk essentially explains it is that the way magic works is that ether is like clay, and you can carve it into shapes, and that's how you do magic. But the way Flinken does magic is it's more liquids. It's like moving a thick slurry around, and this is more similar to that. And Blink's like, yeah, this is more mud than clay. Sure, that does make sense. Target, no Arcana education, but there is something weirdly like familiar in a little bit of a slightly unsettling way, for sure. There we go.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It does definitely remind you in some way of the snake that helped you in perhaps not necessarily always the healthiest way, but yeah. There's definitely something fey in this crystal. So yeah. It is a big crystal. I'm not sure if Gunther can put it in his mouth. But you would also figure that eating it probably isn't healthy just purely based on the fact that it is sharp. So that would probably hurt significantly. It can go in your ass if you are stretchy enough and are willing to take some piercing damage. I will, so like currently it is just next to Tackluck on the bed. It is, the way I would describe the size of it is it's like a small watermelon in terms of size.
Cut it open? Can I cut it open? See what's
Do you want to try?
No. I'm pretty sure I know. I can imagine what's going to happen.
It is seemingly at least very tough. Maybe there are specifically created tools that could cut into this thing, but nah. Yeah. So Gunther figures out a lot of that stuff, and yeah. Oh, beyond that, having that taken care of that stuff, the last thing before taking the evening for this session, Sorath is staying at the manor of a merchant lord. Hyacinth is there with them. Sorath is reading, and Hyacinth is taking the time to just thumb through some of the collection of this petty lord. Seems like they've probably examined most of the stuff in here before, but they might as well kill time by doing that. What Sorath will find in the contents of the book is it's not quite a diary. It's a little more bare bones than that. It's like a journal, essentially. And reading through all of it will probably take a bit, but most of it seems to cover Emerys's like daily things in Emerys's life from a relatively young age. This is probably starting in late teens. The pages and entries aren't dated. Late teens, early 20s, probably. And covers mostly Emrys detailing their expectations and stuff they have to do, how to go about things. There's a lot of notes about running a city and stuff like that. So it seems like a place where Emrys was writing down things she thought was important to have available at all times. So I can definitely take some other, like, more dedicated time to go through the entirety of the thing. So I'll ask you here now, Zolam, if you think Zorath would rather spend this time just reading through as much as possible thoroughly as they can, or if they would, or if their approach would be just kind of going through, seeing, just like trying to get highlights and then perhaps examining it more in detail later. And essentially, does Zorath just start in the beginning and read through the entire thing? Okay. Then, reading in more detail through the first, you'd imagine that Zorath could finish this thing probably the next day. It's not a big journal, it just has a lot of text, and it's a little dense. So, starting off, it's essentially Emrys's book of notes of important things to know to be able to do the job I've been given. And it starts out relatively formally. There are somewhat uncharacteristic little additions of met Lord so-and-so. We had a pleasant conversation. And that kind of like starts propping up more and more for the section Zorath is reading. That it seems like Emrys was not just building connections, but actually kind of seemingly enjoying the company of some people and perhaps building friendships. Professional friendships, but friendships. And I'll say, by the time it gets later to the point where Zorath probably would have to consider going to sleep if they want to have a rest before the next day. There's also started to prop up some, like, occasional notes of, like, voiced frustration with Ambrosia. Ambrosia is involving themselves too much in my work. I am not allowed to work efficiently. Ambrosia doesn't seem to value my input. Well, technically, it does not say Ambrosia, it says Mother. Mother encourages me not to bother too much with friendly connections. I believe this is wrong. And you can definitely see that this journal so far seems to be representing Emrys's gathering of information, probably for what leads up to Emrys moving to Kimpur to start running that town. And a building frustration and distance between her and Ambrosia. In this evening, Zorath probably gets through maybe a little more than the first fourth of the book. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, imagine. So, with that covered, does Sorath want to stay the night at this merchant lord's manor? Okay. They will gladly offer to host you in the chambers of the guests of honor. As is typical in places like this, the manor essentially has a master bedroom where the lord and lady tend to sleep, and then a more fancy, more comfortable, bigger room that stays there so that when they have important guests, the guests can stay there to impress them. The room will be presented to Sorath and Sorath alone, though it's up to Sorath if they want Hyacinth to stay in there with them or if Hyacinth will stay in an appropriate chamber with the servants. Hyacinth would not at all mind staying in the luxurious chambers that are offered to Sora, though, as long as Sorath is fine with that. Does not mind staying in a luxury if possible. Okay. So in that case, eventually night will come and Gin will rejoin the group towards the later evening at Le Cœurzunft, and people will eventually head to sleep. At which point, I'm gonna roll to see if any dream shenaniganery happens. Okay.
So true.
No special dreams. I am, every time I roll for this, I am desperately hoping I roll special dreams for Shell.
Oh, it'll be interesting for him to get the first one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you want to have your dreams rolled for you, or you?
Did you already roll it? Because if you did,
I
I
saved
don't
you.
wanna, like... Okay. Let's... Honestly, it was interesting having you get a nightmare, and I'm at... If I go, I would go to... I'm at 90 right now, so... let's fail it.
Okay. No dream for you either, then. You're at 85.
Alright.
Cool. So...
I'll probably start, like, around, like... Probably start rolling now, and then... It'll be interesting to get a nightmare. Another nightmare, though.
Yeah. So, yeah. You guys wake up in the morning. It's early, but you guys wanted to leave relatively early to hopefully be able to get to Kimper as quick as possible. So, your stuff will be gathered and packed. Servant staff will help take everything down to the harbor onto the ship, at which point we have now hit the final moment where y'all aren't allowed, I'm not allowed y'all to board this ship unless y'all figure out what it's called. So, you have a ship. You gotta name it.
Poopsicle.
So I believe there were a handful of suggestion put in the message thread. Monster fucker. Last thing that thread put in there that had a little bit of a reaction. The Harbinger, the Nautilus, the Ball Buster, the Thigh Crusher, SS Big Basonkas, SS Pickles, Ship Harboring Intelligent Talents, or SHIT for short. Jewel just proposed the Nautilus.
Yeah,
That would probably be the best for us, considering that technically our group didn't mean make piss, or even though as meta we did.
Yeah,
right.
In canon, you guys did not intend for the acronym to be piss.
But so it would make sense, we had another one, another mishap.
So the current the current name that's acronyms into Ship Harboring Intelligent Talents is SHIT for short. I believe last session it was Panda that was trying to theorycraft something with the acronym POOP.
Yep.
So is the
Coming
group
up with a new team name?
No.
Coming up with a new team name?
No, you guys bought a boat. You have to name the boat. So I am going through some of the suggestions that were put into threads, and if anyone has anything else they want to mention, they can bring that up. Currently, it seems like a lot of people are on board with Ship Harboring Intelligent Talents, or SHIT for short.
On board.
Calm down.
Wait, are we voting for names?
Yes, this is boat names.
Oh, there's two. Monster fucker. Oh, that's two?
There were a lot. There's a thread that was in the general that has some of the suggestions. Some people also just yell their suggestions out other things. So far, it seems like people like the idea of the ship acronym of the ship being SHIT in the same way that the acronym of the group is PISS. The suggestion from Salem on that was Ship Harboring Intelligent Talents.
The acronym is pretty good.
I'm trying to find an acronym, but I can't find the last word that I want to find. Just give me a sec.
Yeah. I think while we say that, y'all have to figure that out, we might take our break here so that people can work a little on figuring out if they want to add something to the acronym situation. Refill water, maybe go get some snacks, and then we'll aim to start back up again in 10-ish minutes, so when it hits like 40. Does that sound good for everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. 10-minute break, get yourself water, potentially some snacks, think about names for a boat. I'll BRB because I need to piss. But I'll leave y'all on the be right back screen. Y'all can still be seen and heard. So feel free to just keep yapping if you want to.
Yep.
So yeah. I'll be back real soon.
Voyage of, like, the vessel of real explorers. Vor.
honestly, making a Monster Hunter ship. That's also a good one.
Vessel of real explorers.
I agree.
Is that what we named the carriage?
I kind of like the Nautilus.
My vote's on the shit ship just because it just fits that hard acronym.
Yeah.
Especially since technically our character actually don't mean it to make these acronyms.
Yeah.
It just come out of random. It's just coincidence.
Yeah.
If we do choose Vor, if we could be like, hold on. We like your thing spells shit, so how about we do this one? This Vessel of Real Explorers instead. So then we wouldn't have shit on the side. It's like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, because like we don't want to have shit on the side. And then just spell something else that's just like just as bad. If not worse in some cases.
Technically, do they know what war is in this universe?
I mean, there's herbivores and carnivores, so they would have to like term war in a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what, like, isn't it a combination of two words of like herbivore, like plant eater, and then meat eater?
It just would lose context.
Yeah.
It
would just mean eater.
Hmm.
You know what? Let's roar it out.
What about big regal energy at dawn?
Sorry?
Big regal energy at dawn.
Big regal energy at dawn. No, I'm going to do bread.
What, you don't want the bread chip?
I'd like a bread chip, but I just want like an actual ship made of bread.
Yeah.
That'd be much better.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay. Carnivore comes to the Latin term carnivorous, which means flesh eating, is formed by combining caro with vorare, which means to devour.
I mean,
And that's where we get the word
technically,
carnivore
Lion's
from.
putting his coin into Nautilus.
I like the theme of it being more about eating, and we just don't know the context of war as a fetish, Yeah, we like to eat, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Eating is so good.
Yeah. I really like to eat.
Same.
I mean, technically, I'm a chef. So technically, I love to eat.
Yeah. You help us vor all the time.
I mean, honestly, me and Levi, you wouldn't know what the sexual war means. So
I'm gonna make
here's the
it
thing about eating.
all
Sure, I mean.
in Twitch chat. Give me, Jewel. Give me. I'm gonna make a poll in Twitch chat. So the current contenders are Vor, Shit, the Nautilus, and what?
I think that's the story we're going with right now.
Okay.
You should probably put the actual full name and then the acronym.
Yeah.
I just got back in the words I heard were war, shit, Nautilus. So I'm assuming that things are going great over here.
Yeah, we got 3 names.
Oh, I can't put the. I can't fit it.
I mean, the acronyms work
shit.
for people too.
Yeah,
Can't all fit.
that's what she said.
That's what she said.
kiss.
No.
Oh hell yeah!
Okay, I'm gonna do 2 minutes. Okay, I found a way to use channel points on your channel, Itzy.
Oh, hell yeah. Now finally people can use their channel points for something.
Damn, I'm actually mixed between shit and war. I don't know. What about war
think-
shit? Shit
I
war.
think the acronym inside of it is better for 4.
Yeah. What was
Okay,
the
the
acronym for
polls
again?
in Twitch chat. Vessel
was,
of Real Explorers.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that actually makes it. I feel like our character would come up with something like that.
Yeah, that just
Is
sounds
someone
more
using a ton
better.
of channel points to vote?
No.
Because I don't know if I have 20 people watching right now.
Yeah,
It was a vessel of Royal Explorers, and then the other was a ship.
Harboring intelligent talents.
yeah. I think 4 just makes much more sense. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
I
war
have a
makes
feeling
more
Mel would
sense.
approve of war.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, you got like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Or like a minute.
Yeah, I'll be done like a little bit before we start back
Da
up.
da 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 da.
Whoa.
We like
Hey,
party.
The name is right.
y'all, check this out in the chat.
Fucking 60. Fucking what? Oh, he didn't stop at 69.
Who is voting so much on this?
Oh, now it's me. We gotta make it 420 before it ends. Quick.
Who's clicking?
We gotta make it 420 before it ends. Quick, guys.
You do not have
There's
the
not
time to
enough
do
time.
that.
No.
So,
We missed out on the
let me
69.
just look
Lion
at...
contributed 18,000 channel points.
So,
Almost more than I
it
have.
seems like
Like it.
Vor wins with 183 out of 10 votes. So clearly this was a fair election. But to be fair, there was no votes for any other candidate. Take that, Putin. Rookie numbers.
You got like 95% compared to that. Wait, well, didn't he really fuck up? It's like 110% of the voters chose Putin.
No,
Some shit
Putin
like
has only ever done like 80, like low 90.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, congratulations to Vessel. What was it?
Vessel of Royal
Vessel
Explorers.
of Real Explorers.
Vessel
I'm
of Real
making a page for
Explorers
it.
with 18,300% of the vote.
Wow,
Yeah.
powerful.
Like I saw you guys were like going up from 60. I'm like, oh yeah, I know what's going on. And then it went past 69. I'm like, oh.
I was trying to get it to 100.
It wasn't
I
me.
was like,
I
I saw-
stopped voting when it got to 22.
I saw like, I'm like, oh, this is actually great because we end on like 69 Vor.
And then it kept going.
Yeah, so that's why I had like, okay, we have to choose the next funny number in 8K, but we couldn't do it.
I had
Nah.
57,000 points, and now I have 42,000.
had, like,
Hey,
50,000
you're right.
points for the six.
Finally a use of my channel points. I do have other redeems, but I don't have them active during D&D streams, and it's not like I've streamed anything but D&D for quite a while.
It happens like that.
Yeah. Maybe I'll
should play
stream
Energy
more
Drink
other
with you.
stuff when I'm done with my degree.
Yeah, that makes sense. You should also
I'll
stream
bring
Energy
me.
and barbecue. When
I'll
you're
bring
done
my
with
He's about
it.
to start.
stream set up
He
when they
he's about to
visit.
start with TFT.
I'll make a tea stream while they're visiting me.
Mm.
Or I'll stream on Utzi's channel.
I might stream more once I like get a job, because I'll have more free time that isn't while everyone is available. So I might not, when I get an actual job, I might like not be staying up until 6 a.m. every day.
Capitalism fixing Utzi's schedule.
Yeah, probably not fully, but definitely somewhat. Unless I can find like an evening or night shift job, which would be very comfy. But yeah. Okay. I'm gonna move back to the D&D slot. Here we go. So, the ship is officially named Vessel of Real Explorers, VOR for short. So, you guys can board that, and you have some crew and stuff to help travel with the ship, at least for the short term. Might want to like work on getting a more well-oiled crew later on, when you guys can use this boat to like set off and do stuff whenever. For now, this crew has everything it needs to function. The ship has been renamed. And yeah, so it's you guys, some of Sorat's staff, Hyacinth, and Taklok are the ones that tag along with. Depending on how conditions are, you guys can make it to Kimpur in 2, maybe 3 days. Probably 2. Because you're going downstream, so you don't really need a bunch of people to row your way up the river like you did last time. That usually takes quite a lot of energy and time. So this is the easy mode travel. As long as you guys are traveling during the day, should be easy enough to take care of. Crystal will meet with you guys in the morning as well, I am sure. So let's just assume that Crystal is tagging along for the rest of the journey and not oversleeping and being left behind in Cœurzunft.
Get up!
We just forget to get Crystal.
Yeah. It would be, funnily enough, if Crystal does oversleep and doesn't show up, they could tag along with Anselm's boat. That would travel probably like a little over an hour after you guys. Essentially, there's a time between how often ships tend to leave harbors down rivers like this, because you don't want your ship to maybe like have to slow down a little bit and then the other ship end up behind you, because turns out it's more difficult to slow down a boat when there's traffic than it is to slow down a car, especially when you're in a river and it's all moving downstream. So, yeah. I'm gonna just toss up the opportunity. If anyone wants to do anything last minute here, say so. But I'm assuming y'all are done in Cœurzunft.
Yeah, let's get the fuck out of this base.
Oh, wait. Gen's gonna do... He's gonna turn his head and then do this. And then leave.
Give it. No one in chat can see that, you fuckhole.
Can I...
Don't put it on the screen.
I'm putting it on the screen because you can't stop me.
I'm closing your stream.
Okay. Gin does this, apparently.
So stupid.
I love that.
Thank you too.
I love that.
You're
I
welcome.
love that gift so much. It's
Okay. We're back to
Man.
Le Boeuf Croissant. I will put Le Boeuf Croissant on Flinken's head.
no natural, yes. It's my familiar. And I'm familiar with it.
Is that,
Fuck
is that
Timothy.
Timothy's disguise?
Yes, yes. This is how I like keep like Timothy from being recognized as like what type of creature is Timothy again? A shadow creature?
They're technically just like a shadow, but
Yeah, this is what-
for
this is-
everyone else, they just look like a sparrow. So, in case you ever want to hide the fact that they are a sparrow and put them in the less inconspicuous shape of whatever the fuck that is, I'm sure no one will bat an eye and go like, oh, they've got some weird buff made bread. Well, at least they don't have sparrow like suspicious people with.
Yeah. This is all just to like make sure people trust me more.
Yes.
Because you can't trust anybody with a sparrow. Like my dad used to tell me that, you know. You know what? You never trust a guy with a sparrow because honestly, every single time I've seen a guy with a sparrow, the worst person you've ever known.
Great lore. I'm so happy that Flinken's dad is dead, so I don't have to actually roleplay as this character. Because you realize the blessing that you gave me by having most of Flinken's family be either like not relevant or already dead means that I don't have to roleplay a section of the story that is like 5 Flinkens essentially.
Oh, imagine you get to roleplay 5 Lincolns. Oh, no.
Oh my god.
Because if I remember correctly, like Flinken's dad dies because he steps on a bullfrog and dies
Yes.
from the poisoning. That's why Flinken is like, I'm gonna make the best shoes ever, so no one ever dies from stepping on something. And then Flinken's mom dies of entirely unrelated reasons, right?
I don't think we even talked about the mum.
We did have a
like,
conversation,
unbelievable.
and I was like, what happened to Flinken's mom? Did she die of a bullfrog too? And you said, like, no, she just, like... I think the idea was that she had died, but she died of something, like, else. Incredibly stupid.
I don't remember it all. Like, I don't think we really ever got that far into the story.
Yeah.
I think,
I know,
like, I think
I know
we,
I
like-
mentioned Flinken's mom, and you were like, she probably just fucking dead.
yeah, I mean, like, she could have, like, you know, died from, like, you know, birth complications and stuff like
That's
that.
possible.
That seems like-
Hey,
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
the lore now?
Yeah, like, that seems pretty likely. Because
Yeah,
then it's, like,
okay.
why it's, like, he's, like, so focused on, like, this one person and stuff.
Okay, I'll
Seems like
add
he
that
was, like,
to
in
the
the-
notes.
That seems valid. That's why he's raising him by himself and, you know, brought him to the forest and stuff.
Dig down too
Yeah.
hard. Yep.
Cool. I now know more about Flinken's lore. Let's go. Anyway, with Gin having looked off into the distance, officially, I'll get on the boat and start sailing down river. In which case, I know Jewel did say, you know what I'm gonna do? I had a feeling that it's a thing that you will do now that you're on the water.
War?
Neither of those two are water exclusive activities. I will just...
Depends on what you like to war, right?
There's certain styles you could do in the water.
Sure. Anyway, yeah, there's the fishing roll. Let's go. So, traveling down the river, Gunther's doing some fishing. There's fish. Not as good fishing as when you were fishing on the way up the river. Maybe because you're moving quicker. Maybe the fish is just not as abundant all the way in the very, very top of this river. But you get some fish. It'll help with the food. Sorath's reading. Anyone else wants to like specify a thing they're doing while traveling on the boat? If the answer is no, that's valid.
Levi should be keeping an eye on Tackler.
Tacklook is, for the first day, mostly asleep. Though there are, like, small periods where they'll wake up a little. They'll be a little confused, not fully there. But they're awake enough that Levi can, like, get them some soup and some water and stuff. But give me a medicine check.
Do I get advantage?
Sure, you have a lot of people there who could help you at some point. Feel free to check in your guidance. I'm assuming you're using it.
Yeah, usually.
Okay.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. You'd figure based on that Tacklook will probably be more conscious probably tomorrow. They probably would. You'd probably advise them to stay in bed resting for a couple more days, but given that they have no injuries and Gunther has like healed over every little sore they've had from like laying on the hard ground even, that looks probably good to like start walking about within a couple of days. Though they definitely would need a little bit of time to like regain their strength. They've been laying down and trapped in a very small space for a long time. So they've definitely not like lost the ability to walk or anything, but their muscles have atrophied slightly. So they should, as soon as they can, try walking about and stuff, but they'll probably need some assistance. Probably would be helpful for them to have crutches for a bit and work with the assistance of someone to build up strength in their body properly, so they don't like push themselves too hard, because they could risk serious injury if they try to push their body too hard too quickly.
During the 2 days where like I recommend him resting, I would probably like start like out like basically like like a stick or something that he could put his weight on. Like he would probably.
There's a lot of like lumber you can use aboard a ship, because a ship has to have a lot of wood with it for repairs. So if you want to do wood carving stuff, you can definitely like assemble some like some of those like old-timey crutches, like the ones that go under your shoulders and
He'll be probably like he'll do it in Tackle's room, so in case he has any like sort of wants, then he could.
Give me a woodworking check. Not a particularly difficult check, but it is possible.
Give myself guidance.
Yeah, sure. But it is possible to fuck it up, and that would be funny. So I'm making a roll for it anyway.
24.
24. Okay. You make a comfortable and functional set of crutches that are very well adjusted to Tacklook's height. And you'd figure, like, once you get back to Kimpur, like, Tacklook probably should rest for that day, get a good night's sleep and a proper bed when you get to Kimpur, but the day after, you'd probably recommend they start trying to move about and get active. So, yeah. What I was reading is anyone else doing anything on boat, flanking, getting target? Guys also do get a long rest if that matters for like spell selection or getting stuff back. I forgot to say that.
Oh wait, hold on. I forget. Does shape water have to be still water, or can it be like moving water?
Shape water can be moving water.
Okay. Probably just like fucking around with shape water.
Yeah, valid. Okay.
Oh, I can create water. So we can cast that, and you can just shape the water.
We're
and
on a
stuff.
boat.
Oh yeah.
I'm probably, you know what I'm doing? I'm probably creating everyone like who wants one, like ice sabers, and being like, on guard.
So you're
that sounds like
creating
something
icicle
someone would do.
sabers for people to have silly ice fencing.
Yeah,
matches
they're
with.
like they're more like ice canes. They're not quite icicles. Like there's no
Yeah.
stabby bit. It's safe,
Mm-hmm.
but they're like lightsabers, you know. And I'm just like running around, being like, on guard. Maybe not running, but you know.
Yeah.
Oh, while you're doing that, I do like a silent image and like craft a monster for you to fight.
Yeah, fighting the monster.
So we create a pantomime fighting the monster with ice weapons. In my head, I'm just imagining this as like the most scuffed budget or ripoff of like Star Wars.
Yeah, we're telling a story too, and this is like we're going through the hero's adventure and stuff like that.
Cool.
And you use like the water to shape like the items you need for like the play and stuff like that. That sounds actually really cool.
Performance
Yeah.
checks from both of you. I'll allow both of you to have advantage. You're helping each other.
Okay. This is gonna go great.
They got 27.
Mm-hmm.
Combined together, that's 40.
Wait, oh, did I?
Because I'm
oh,
pretty
did it
sure
only
that's
roll
how it
once?
works.
That
Did it
rolled
only
one.
roll once? Oh, okay. I clicked on it twice, but
Oh,
guess I
the way to
didn't.
roll advantage is you can right click and you can click
holy shit.
choose advantage or super advantage, but yeah, right click on a roll option and it'll give you options.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
so like
I
they
got a
did
20.
advantage, but just like the long way.
Yeah.
Then we got 26.
So the
got a
two of
20.
you,
And that 20.
the two of you will do an elaborate ice weapon versus illusory monster performance for people's entertainment. Flinking creates this narrative, and turns out that Target is a surprisingly very good actor. I wonder in what context Target has had to make pretend to distract people. Don't
I
tell,
couldn't think of the context. Like
Don't-
it's very hard to think about.
don't
languages
tell
like-
anyone that that this actor was trained by the Al Qaeda.
No. The animal Al Qaeda.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's Animal Qaeda.
Animal Qaeda. Oh no. That's their
Hi,
name.
Tay.
Oh
Animal kinda.
no. Hello, everyone else. Hi, Tay.
Tay showed up
Tay.
just in time for the Animal Qaeda.
Yeah.
Animal Qaeda. My character's
Good timing.
former stomping grounds.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. So y'all have a cool performance-y situation. Gin wants to do anything they can, again, no stress for them too. For Sora, the reading through more of the book, there is the little journal continues, and there's more and more of the presence of Emrys creating more emotional connections with a lot of people, especially once they get to the section of journal where Emrys has officially moved to Kimpur and started running things there. Definitely still, in many ways, the Emrys that Sorath knows and is familiar with, but significantly more emotionally involved. And this kind of continues for most of the book. Not really before, maybe 4/5 in, last fifth of the book, where Emrys's annoyances with Ambrosia have kind of risen. She's frustrated that her mother is expecting her to run Kimpur, but is kind of being a little micromanagey. When Sorath ran Kimpur, she was allowed to do mostly things however she wanted, and it wasn't really until the change of the tax regulation that Emrys had big issues with, where things got more problematic between them. So at least in that part, it seems like Emrys hasn't fully forgotten. She did let Sorath have more freedoms in Kimpur than it seemed like Ambrosia did for Emrys. Then there's a spot where the journal tells of a large banquet gathering that happened in Kimpur, that Emrys essentially was the first really big event that Emrys, in a sense, was charged with arranging and setting up. And it was mostly for trade relations and for new trade and business opportunities for Pleasant Valley. And it seems like Sorath is not exactly sure what the triggering event was, but it seems like during this, Ambrosia, most likely, Sorath would figure, maybe voiced the possibility of a candidate for Emrys to wed. And from the way Emrys is writing about it, it seems like Ambrosia was relatively transparent about the idea that the only thing that really mattered for who Emrys would marry was the quality of their blood, not in terms of bloodline, but in terms of magical prowess. And it seems as if this is where Emrys maybe became more aware of Ambrosia's goals of moving the family back towards immortality. Emrys seems to, in their writing, be very against this idea. And they write stuff like, I know what great-grandfather has become. To live that long should not be a goal. I do not want to aid in this. And the book voices some frustrations about some of the potential candidates that aren't named, and Emrys isn't being very direct about it, but it doesn't seem like Emrys really approved of the people that Ambrosia wanted her to marry. Then towards the very, very end of the journal, the last handful of pages, there is an entry that is not as neatly written. It is still clearly Emrys's handwriting, but it was either written in a hurry or Emrys was emotionally distraught when it was written. And the journal entry goes: I arrived home late today evening. Mother was in the manor. She pretended things were right, but she was clearly injured. The manor's medical staff have made a valiant effort to hide her injuries. There's not much they can do. Hopefully, she can recover from them. All staff will tell me is that she had an accident, which I do not believe. And then at the very end of the page, it says, my guess is that she went into the keep again. Then there is a couple of pages that have more normal journal notes of, at a meeting with this and this lord, this we agreed for a trade with a tariff rate of this and this much. But not too many pages later, close enough that Sorath would figure that it's likely written only a couple of days after the entry where Ambrosia was injured. Mother keeps muttering to herself during dinner, I wonder if she forgets that I'm here. I think she wants grandfather's blood. Perhaps she sees that as a more direct way to rejuvenate her own. Clearly, she's not been particularly successful in this matter. I hope to convince her to stop. Then there is a single more entry, and Sorath flips the page over, and that just says, I do not think I can trust Mother anymore. I cannot allow her to get her hands on great-grandfather's blood. I fear what would happen to her if she lives long enough that her mind slips away like his did. She talks of her amulet. Sounds like there is another. I have heard of something like this in Bouchon. I will travel there, find it, hopefully, and hide it. I cannot encourage her to keep doing this. And there's a couple of empty pages that have little indent marks, as if someone was like considering writing something, tapping or scratching the pages with a quill. And then at the very, very last page of the journal, there's a couple of empty pages in between the last entry and the last page. It says, I leave the amulet here. I cannot afford for her to find it. If I find this again in the future, I leave you this message. You hid it away for a reason. You forgot about it for a reason. Do not let Mother have this. And that's the final entry of the book. So to summarize the practical elements of that, at some point after Emrys had moved to Kimpur, started things there, it seems like Ambrosia started being more open about talks about immortality again. It seems like Ambrosia was entering the keep, and that it went poorly for her, as expected. And that she wanted, at least at some point, to try and physically get Aubrey's blood. Ambrosia seemed to know about there being a second amulet. But it seems like Emrys was the one who had heard about a potential cimilar amulet in Cœurzunft. She went and got it. And then, as you guys figured out, in some way ended up meeting with Merchant of Time and Memories, who clearly then sealed the amulet, the book, the necklace, and took Emrys's memory of them. So, seems to fit the theories that Sorath and Anselm had so far. As for the necklace, Sorath could ask Risyuk to, like, examine the necklace.
Oh, was he bugs like Levi? Oh.
If they want to see if... Yeah. Okay. Cool. I will grab a... do a little roll with Risyuk's stats. 27. Those plus 13s are sure thing.
Having a plus 13 is
Yeah. Risyuk had a lot of 13s. Risyuk had
wish I could
1,
give
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stats of plus 13. But they're all tools. All of their tools were expertises, so.
I wish I could get expertise this easily. This sucks.
3 levels of fighter.
Yeah.
Risyuk can tell Sorath that this is a pretty cheap necklace, that it was handmade by probably an amateur. Sorath can get a history check with advantage, not a very high DC. There is something in the design. It's not very elegant. It's like Rizzy says, it's made with the knowledge that it's made by someone who is an amateur at best. There is something emersy about the design, and moves Sorath to. It seems like it's a necklace, perhaps made by Emrys, perhaps when she was younger, with cheap materials, and it looks fine, but it doesn't really look like it's made by a professional by any means. And as far as you know, Emrys has never been a jeweler. She designs things, but she doesn't make anything. She draws plans, makes drawings, and hands it off to craftspeople who then realize her visions. So this might have been something that she made by hand. It's not magical, as mentioned. It's just a mundane necklace. It's the sort of thing that both Ambrosia and Emrys today would probably chastise Sorath for wearing, because it's cheap, and Sorath is better than that. So, it being here, clearly it was important to Emrys. And you figure that Ambrosia probably hasn't changed that much, so you doubt Emrys would have been allowed to wear it, or even keep it. So, yeah. Sorath wears it hidden under their shirt. The first day of river travel is relatively calm. There are occasional, like, Gin can see smaller creatures, but most of them seem to steer clear of the vessel. Nothing like the swarm that you guys had to deal with earlier. Nothing that seems brave enough to try and beef with the ship itself. Unless anyone wanted to do anything else with this day also passes. This is just downtime.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and Captain Buggy just gonna chill.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, again, it's just steering our ship.
Gin would not be allowed to steer the ship. You might own the boat, but you guys have a crew, and that crew includes helmsman and captain, and they are not. It doesn't matter if you own the ship; they're not allowing you to fuck it up.
Captain doesn't steer his own ship.
Gunther makes the sushi. Do you have a skill check for making food, Joe? Okay. I believe it's a wisdom skill. So if you want to, you can just
for me.
roll a wisdom check. See how good you make the sushi.
It's rolling. It's rolling. It's a 2. You used luck.
You guys are gonna get a long rest, so... You try to make some sushi. The fish here doesn't lend itself particularly well to it, sadly. You're also not 100% sure if this fish is safe to eat raw. Okay. Another night. Do you want to roll for your dream this time, Panda?
Nah. Okay. You roll for it. I'm going to an 80.
Sadly, no cool dreams. Next day, you guys have traveled a significant part of the river. You are not fully halfway down it yet. You can probably just... I'll move Sorath. But as you go further down the river, it gets both wider and moves water with more intensity as it picks up water from other rivers and river bills and becomes easier to travel quite quickly. And as long as anything doesn't get in the ship's way, cause any big trouble, the crew's relatively certain that they can get you guys to Kimpur before nightfall. Yeah. The second day, you guys are once again left on the ship. Taklock is asleep for most of the morning, but does wake up and is more conscious and more able to have conversations now. Though they're definitely still a little weak, probably shouldn't be moving about just yet, and will probably still spend most of the day sleeping when they can. But they're gonna be awake, and they seem to be present enough to have proper conversations. So if people want to talk,
Levi's still is still in the room with him, just like, you know, taking care of him, keeping him company.
Taklook will just before, in addition to any potential conversations any of y'all want to have with them specifically, Taklook will, in general, thank you guys for helping them out. The real shit situation they were in, and they'll probably be relatively jovial, a little joking about things.
Oh, I would tell him, oh yeah, we got paid a pretty big buck for killing the Sudvald Reese.
You guys killed, like, the Sudvald Beast? Oh,
yeah.
Damn. Okay. Yeah.
We got paid what? What was the exact amount? 20K?
It's hot minute back and stuff, but I think at least there was some stuff in the game chat a little bit ago.
I think we each got like around like what, 12K or something.
Now each one of you got 32,485 gold.
Wow.
All right, so times that by like 7. So
Yeah,
Eight.
you guys got like in the roundabouts of like 200,000.
yeah, we got paid like 200,000 for it.
That would be like, I mean, I guess I was like alright to bet on you guys. It's like you guys have made yourself quite successful.
Oh, there was something I was actually gonna ask you. I was getting that ring back to the village.
But that one, great. Yeah, no. We got Pum Pum reunited with their village. They're back in place, protecting the town and everything. It was very nice. They wanted to offer a reward, but they didn't have much money. So, like, if you ever come by there, they'd be happy to, like, host y'all, celebrate y'all. But, like, you know, I didn't really want to, like, take a bunch of stuff from them. It's like a small town. That reminds me, do you have, like, my stuff?
I think we picked it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
Oh. Yeah, we didn't forget.
The little chest that had all of Takluk's stuff in, Takluk will rifle through some of it and grab a little, like, it's a nicely made leather bag, and inside there are little, like, pendants that are very beautifully carved, that are all engraved with on the front there is essentially they're carved to look like almost like a thorn bush with little fairy wings in the center of it. On the back it's carved "Our heroes" and then "piss."
Our heroes piss.
Yeah.
Our
Heroes do piss.
Need to-
Go piss, hero.
So there is 7 of those.
The heroes of piss. The piss
I think
leaders.
What do you mean,
At least-
Gunsword?
At least we're better at names now. Our name is the Vessel of Real Explorers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wonderful name. Yeah, that's a great name. I think like a ship like that'll go great. I'm sure they can see like the best things.
Yeah, for some reason it spells out "vor," but I mean,
That's
Worry.
fortunate, I suppose.
"vor Ray." I don't know what it means, but
What is unfortunate?
It definitely sounds fancy, I tell you what. Worry.
"vor." Don't know what it means, but it sounds pretty cool.
I think it is quite amusing.
Like, when the moon hits your eyes, like a big pizza pie, it's a worry.
You've been holding that one in for a while now, haven't you?
I heard that on the spot. I'm like,
Oh,
hold
no.
on.
Fred was in the shower and like hit the no, just kidding. It's funny though.
That's fucking beautiful.
I'm clipping it.
That's I don't know exactly when, but maybe after y'all finish this arc, that's gonna go into like a bard's song about the party at some point. That has to be.
Oh yeah. I feel like Sorath would like look at Takluk and be like, "Oh, I think we have obtained, at least I have obtained a few magical items, since our departure, and we have added to items we got from you originally.
Wonderful. I'm happy to hear that.
And Sorath will show the dancer's sword.
They'll look at that. Actually. Hell yeah. Tacklick's been in a fucking coma for like a couple of months. First dice roll for Tacklick, nat 20.
That's
Nice.
cool.
Ah. This my dancing sword, that's impressive. Kind of like holds it slightly light.
Yes. It allows me to move very easily.
Tacklick will look at Sora very like intently, like they're trying to like examine them. There's like a little bit of suspicion. Not a bad suspicion, more like a curious suspicion. Look at Sorath's finger. I'll hand it back to
Oh,
him
yeah.
and go like, okay, what the hell have you guys been like up to?
Quite a lot. You know of Debaya Rock, correct?
Yes, I am familiar. I do use it in my work.
We have rendered it, how do I put this nicely?
Obsolete.
Useless?
Yeah, you guys can see like Tacklick immediately like the joy on their expression immediately like drains a little as they realize, oh, wait, my main thing is I make constructs, and I power all my constructs with the Biorock. Fuck, I have to redo the power supply system of everything I've ever made. Fuck. That's how Tacklick knew Ritziuk. Ritziuk was the Biorock supplier.
Yes, it's,
Yeah.
a bit difficult. This is why my family took your crystal.
Well, that's probably bad. Do you care
Correct.
much about lowering maintenance costs on your family's property?
Yes?
If so, it probably is a good idea to, like, tell them to replace any arcane pathways. Because I tried powering things with this before, and it tends to wear it down very quickly. So if they've got any, like, arcane system set up, think of it as the wiring's probably slightly fried, so things will stop working if that's not fixed. No big deal, just like... They probably need like a maintenance guy to come check and replace everything.
Oh,
That's
Oh,
their
of course.
problem.
I mean, how important does that need to be done? I could always send your mom a message.
So from what Sorath knows about the way the manor works is it keeps all the lights on. And it's used for like a lot of like more... It's essentially like the electricity in a house. The manor
Such-
functions without it.
Mm.
The main thing that would be a problem is all of Ambrosia's like surveillance enchantment systems are going to be without power.
That actually might be a good thing for our Imrus. That actually might be a really good.
I would recommend you to inform my mother, but it can be up to her whether or not she
Yeah.
looks into fully powering the house again immediately.
Okay. I'll cast
Sora,
sending
give me a
instead.
history check. Just a normal history check. Is this
9.
9. You don't remember exactly how long they said setting things up took, but you're pretty sure it took a while, because Ambrosia has bragged about this house having one of the most extensive, complicated arcane pathway networks of any building that was built when it was built, which, to be fair, is several hundred years ago, before Emerus was born. But you figure that even if they started now, it would probably take a while to fix everything. And knowing Emrys would definitely not prioritize all of Ambrosia's pet projects. It would be like, well, first we're getting the lights on, then we're getting the heating, and then... So...
Yeah. So Emrys can get a head start on fixing the basics.
Okay. Wait, do we mention that wait, was that a meta thing about the Ambrosia surveillance going down?
Sora, it's not a meta thing. Sora would know that that's also part. That's essentially like when Hyacinth gassed the room they were in with magical curse gas, essentially, was to overload those systems. It's how Ambrosia keeps tabs on everything that's happening in every room.
Okay. I'll go ahead and send this sending.
I'm guessing to Emerus.
Yeah, to Emerus. Takluk says crystal. It was like melts or
wears like fries. Yeah.
Fries. Arcane circuits. Really fast. We'll need to replace.
Yeah.
And Sora says Ambrosia surveillance goes down.
Okay. I believe you have 6 more words if you want to use them for something.
Goes down. So I mean,
you can just fill them with whatever.
Chicken butt.
I mean,
we named our ship Vor.
No, it's just but I would just say Takluk is okay.
Okay, lots. Then the message is sent. You receive very quickly after that a... Thanks for the heads up. I will have repairs arranged soon. It might take a while. Hopefully it's in order by the time you return. And that's the message.
She said she'll get it done.
Right.
When Risyuk summoned the house, Risyuk could tell that all of the arcane pathway, essentially the circuitry, was all in the walls. So to fix it, they'll have to tear out all the walls.
Oh boy.
It's okay, they need to fix Levi's room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially, the entire manor will need to be fully, like, renovated.
Yeah, it's fine.
Good thing you're rich.
Yeah.
Very true. I feel like they would catch Takluk up on how things went.
Oh yeah, apparently these two got sick with some sort of what was that?
Abolus.
Abolus sickness, where they turned water.
Porn squids.
I assume you guys got better, because you don't look.
Yes.
Good.
A cure is going to restoration, and we were able to find someone that could help in Glomu? No.
I believe in Kangaram, technically.
Kangara.
But then you had to go to Goromu because they were like, oh, they are currently doing medical, like, help over there. So,
and we got to Debaya and had an interesting experience. Sorath isn't laughing, I'm laughing.
Mm-hmm.
That is how we, I assume you have been to the Scar Canyon, or have at least heard of it.
Personally, no, but I am familiar with
Yes.
the area due to my business transactions.
That area is no longer dangerously magic, or it's not as dangerous as it was before.
I suppose
It is now
that is good, then.
Yes, it is quite.
Great.
It was necessary.
I'm happy you guys have done great for yourselves. And they like look around. Probably eventually spot target. Is that a new friend?
Yes. They joined the same day that we found you.
Ah, lucky
But-
coincidence. And Teklik will reach out a hand, a little weakly, but reach out a hand to shake Target's hand.
Target will put down the ice spear. Kind of like they'll go to like wipe their head, but then they realize that their suit is not conducive to wiping, and just kind of look panic, and then they'll like they'll kind of just awkwardly be like,
Teklik will grab your hand
stick it out
anyway.
Yeah, they stick it out anyway. They look like concerned, but they do it anyway.
Introduce themselves like.
Yes.
Looks like scale. I am the sole proprietor of Scale Emporium. I am a trade. I do trade of a lot of stuff. I dabble mainly in magical artifacts and information.
They created our carriage and automatolio for us. And they have sold us many magical artifacts that we have maybe disappointed them with what we have done with them, but several of them were at least somewhat impressive. I can imagine Gin's axes would be quite impressive.
Can I ask a quick question? What is Tomatolio powered by?
Automatolio was powered by the Biorock and did stop working, but it was part of what Risiuk and Dugal did, was find a new power source for the stuff you needed to power. So currently, I believe Automatolio is essentially charged by a magical battery, a gemstone that like you just dump a shit ton of spell slots into, and then it stays charged for quite a while, but eventually it'll have to be recharged by something magical.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah.
I don't know how much into detail we went about that. It was one of the things that like, Automatolio
really.
doesn't work, but like, it's Dugal. There's a very low chance that Dugal doesn't have anything magical enough that you can shove it in a box and have it power something. So, yeah.
Is Lion, are you here? Is there a lion in the room with us?
Is the lion in the room with you now?
The line.
Because yes, Sorath would like gesture towards Gin's hand axes, but if Lion's not here, can.
Yeah. I'll leave. I would show off his cool shit.
Lion's dead as hell.
I had my the Mithril fingers. Maybe this.
That's wonderful. Fingers are great craftspeople.
Oh yeah, Gunther, you can have your eye patch back. I can see you now.
Oh, true. Yeah, we have hit the deadline for that.
Yeah,
I believe.
You said it's been 2 days, and it was about 25th when we talked about it. So you can have your eye patch back now.
Let's go.
And I am betrothed to Dugal Love.
I kind of figured. I hope that goes well for you.
It is. It is wonderful. So my parents were not thrilled.
I imagine. I've had minor interactions with the man before. A prickly pair, not too happy about business, was very unwilling to sell me anything, even though their collection was...
Oh yes, this sword was gifted to me by him.
You can tell there's like some amount of like... You're not sure if it's just like professional annoyance or like just envy when you say it was gifted to you. You figure that a sword like this would probably be quite valuable. And it, from the way Takluk reacted to it, it seemed like they might have been familiar with this sword before.
Yeah.
And might have offered Dugal quite a good price for it, and most likely Dugal has gone, no, what the fuck? I'm not selling my little sister's, the last thing my little sister gave to you. I don't give a shit how much money you have. I have more money than you anyway.
He gifted it to me, so it is a great personal part of action.
I suppose there are worse partners to choose, so I wish you the best of luck with that. Like, I'm not against it, but... And Tyler kind of leans a little closer to Sora, like half whispers, you're aware he killed like a bunch of people, right?
Yes.
Okay, then everything's fine then, as long as you know.
I'm not ignorant. I am completely aware of his social status.
Well, as long as you're happy, I'm happy.
It is not that many in my family are much better, so it does
Oh
not
no,
bother me.
I imagined you would have been married off to some horrible rube, but, you know, such as royalty.
Yeah. I think the only downside is that my grandmother quite approves.
I suppose that could be a downside. I'm sorry, I don't really know her well on like a personal level.
That is probably for the best.
Oh yeah, Soros. Can I say something? I don't know what. No. You know that necklace that we took from that crate?
Yes.
Your grandmother made me wear it, and then something happened. But I tried to check around. I'm not exactly sure what it was.
Oh. I could imagine many things could have happened to you.
Jackal will look at Levi a little more intently, be like, something happened?
Well, it's like a. It's not something that's ongoing. It's something that happened right when I put on the necklace, but then, you know.
Was the necklace
it
magical?
happened. It's not anymore. I showed him the necklace.
Okay. That look like looks at the necklace for a bit.
Honestly, I'm
Turns.
surprised that you are alive.
Turns a little towards Levi and goes, Doctor, would it be okay if I do some work, or do I have to wait for my recovery?
What would be best? As long as he doesn't physically like move right, like stand up.
You figure that like casting them some magic probably wouldn't be super bad. It's probably not something you would advise for them to do a lot.
I wouldn't advise you do it a lot. I wouldn't, but just no like standing up or anything, or like walking around.
Then they like pull on your sleeve to like have you come a little further down to you, and they'll cast the very simple little spell. Anyone who has any like degree of proficiency in Arcana at all can tell that it's quite literally just.
Oh, I do.
This is quite literally just them casting a spell that is looking for magical power. It's kind of like a detect magic. Not necessarily looking as as generally for magical presences, but just looking for pieces of essentially what you would call an ether radical, a latent piece of magical ether that is not being used for anything. Yeah. So, I can't know for sure. I suppose when I've recovered a little more, I can hopefully deal with this. But what I think this is that there was a bit of ether attached to this necklace, and there is probably a very, very simple translocation spell attached to it that would move this piece of ether to whoever was wearing it. And think of this as it's like a brand. It makes you recognizable. It's you've been doggy tagged.
It's doggy tag.
I should be able to deal with it. It's not dangerous. It just it would make it exceedingly easy to find you. For the one who's familiar with the tag, so to say. I should be able to fix it, though it would require a little bit more finesse and some tools.
Yeah, you should focus on recovering for now. It doesn't seem like if that's the case, it doesn't seem like a big problem right now.
I'm sure I'll feel better tomorrow. I can, attempt it then.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We have
Especially
plenty of time on our trip.
Yeah. Especially since we're in Pleasant Valley anyways, and let's be honest, she could probably find us even without this.
Correct.
Speaking of being in Pleasant Valley, Tarjit, was it?
Yes.
Sorry for not being able to make a better impression as to my trade. Turns out that I have very limited access to my storage of curiosities. And they'll ruffle through their coat pocket and pull out an IOU. I made a small investment into this group when, and not to brag, I kind of put them together. And it feels wrong that you go without such a little trinket, and consider this a promise that once I am capable, I'll make sure to get you out with something nice.
Yippee!
Wow, such is
Oh, yeah.
very powerful. I owe you.
Can you still get to your warehouse from here?
No.
Oh.
Just like with some mansion,
Mhm.
I cannot reach at these.
I believe I have finally found the one downside to creating my warehouse as a separate space I have to enter. Well, I'll have easily access to it once you guys deal with all of this. I'm sure you'll have it done, no problem.
Hopefully, we're kind of on our way to
Oh.
And so
to
I do
try.
I do worry about my grandmother. It seems that she may have plans for our ridding of the curse.
Hey, do you mean that she probably doggy tagged me to for when we're in the process, so she could get
I would believe that the
into the middle
person
of
who
it?
doggy tagged you wanted to be able to find you, perhaps spy on you whenever they wanted easily,
Yeah.
without you needing to be aware of it or have much of a way of going around it. I will say now, out of character, mechanically, if you scry on a person, that person can save against it.
Yeah.
But you
I
can
can't
scry
save
on
against it.
locations, and locations don't have to save. Essentially, it allows Ambrosia to always find your location, and then she can scry on the area and not you, and there's no way to save against it.
Yeah.
It's a neat little trick where, as long as you can always know where someone is before you scry, you can technically scry on them without them having any way of dealing with it.
Yeah.
No response.
Yeah.
Speaking of response,
Mm-hmm.
I look at the time and respond with "must leave."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was able to give Target the IOU and introduce them to Tacklug, which is the important bit.
Yay!
Yeah,
We
It
love
was just
you
a
get-
Tacklug.
performance.
you get free magic equipment.
Mhm.
Yay!
Whenever we deal with this Pleasant Valley, which might be another year.
Yeah. Enjoy your shift, Shal.
Thank you. I will actually. I like this job.
Yay!
Yay!
Shift.
Shift, shift, shift.
Shift, 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 shift.
So,
Shift.
Shift!
Yummy.
yeah. Okay. Everyone say bye-bye to Shal.
Bye-bye, Shift.
Bye.
Bye-bye,
Bye,
Shal.
Shal.
Bye-bye.
And we never see Target again.
Yeah, that's how I leave.
Ban.
Target. Gone, but never forgotten.
Oh. Yeah, so I feel like Sorath would kind of very loosely mention that it's probably smart not to involve her grandmother much in any of the plans from here on out.
Mm.
Yeah, I think we got all the help we really needed from her, right?
Yes, I believe she is interested in Opolis blood,
Oh.
and I would rather her not be able to do with it whatever she plans. So
Are
we'll
you
need
guys
to make
planning
sure.
on, like, fighting Obari?
Hopefully not.
It's maybe. It's
We already
it's
fought
maybe
him.
necessary.
We already fought him once. It didn't go well.
He
I do
went
not
off
know if
running.
we fought him. I believe that he killed you and then returned to the castle.
Yeah.
Like,
I would.
as far as I know, none of you guys have like formal Monster Hunter training. So like, do a bunch of research. Everyone has weaknesses. Always exploit that. That's what we did when we traveled.
That's what we did with the
Yes.
Sudwald Beast, right?
Yeah,
We
great.
Yes.
we are working on gathering information about him to do exactly that if we are going to need to fight him.
Yeah, I had a dream spell on him where I explained to them at the dinner table about how my dream encounter with Aubrey went because I explained to him the dream.
That's interesting. Okay, that's good. Good information
And
to have.
so yeah. So we got a little bit of details on how Aubrey likes to fight, and then also our actual encounter with him. So
Yeah, I already got notes. I got it.
So,
So if we do tend to
Yes.
fight him,
but
we got
Hmm.
this. Yeah.
your
You should-
grandmother is near the keep. Right?
Yes,
Okay.
we would need to ensure that things are handled and that she does not get any access to his blood.
Yes. Incapacitating her before might be a good idea. I've learned very well to stay away from her, not trust her, and just, generally treat her as hostile at all times.
I think we
What?
would have to probably ask Sora's parents to deal with that more than us.
Who are
When the
we
time
avoiding? Who are we avoiding giving blood to?
Ambrosia.
Okay.
I feel that maybe Gin would be able to create a poison that could paralyze her at some point. Or at least my father could.
Yeah. Or
That is
I mean, or if
very
anything,
likely.
or if anything, your mother's really strong, right? Is what I've heard.
Ah, yes, this is very
So-
true. I just
so
worry
maybe-
that my mother has not gone against Ambrosia for anything major, and I feel that it is for a reason.
I will also remind Sora of a revelation Sora had at the literal first moments of being here once Obari expressed their control over Sora.
Yeah, that too.
That Sora felt control that was almost like Obari's will was imposed over Sora's, but it wasn't strong.
Mm.
And from what Sora figured, also from talking with Curse about that,
Mm-hmm.
Sora would assume that Obari's control over Ambrosia would probably be significantly higher, and the same with Emrys.
Yeah.
Which
We would
Emrys
most likely-
would probably want to stay away from any conflict that could show her as a potential threat or asset to Obari, because if Obari manages to impose control over Emrys, and it becomes a fight where it's Obari and Emrys versus everyone,
we're dead. We're dead. We're
I
gone.
we almost may need to incapacitate my grandmother, my mother, and very possibly me.
What about do you think so we're probably gonna need your father's help for this plan.
Collect.
I'm just gonna, for the sake of this, because I didn't think this before now, I'm just gonna say Hyacinth is here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, she would be. Yeah.
So Hyacinth would be able to, and that.
Oh, true. She's got some weird shit.
As far as I know, Aubrey exerts control through the curse, and the curse can be lessened and dampened.
This is true. We are working on this together. Well, Isset is working on it, and I am her patient.
Sure, I can offer some temporary help there, as otherwise I do not think it would be smart for you to step back in Cœurzunft at all. I can see if there is anything I can do. However, there is one potential option that could make you not have to worry about that. The goal of this trip is to find the source of the curse.
Yeah, that's why we're visiting this demon or something, right?
Yes, we are
That's-
unsealing the devil.
If anyone would be someone who could aid in perhaps temporarily giving you a leave from your curse.
True. I was not sure what could be done about the curse, as I figured the curse would be lifted from the land, but I was not sure about the curse's effect on my family.
Curses are, in essence, no different from any other magic. The thing that makes a curse particular, and the reason we distinct it from normal magic, is that a curse gives up control in the trade of power. A curse is significantly more able to cause damage or overcome attempts to stop it. But once it is set in motion, there is no controlling or altering its outcome. The being that placed the curse, unless the contract that caused the curse to begin with can be fulfilled, can likely not remove the curse. But if the history books are correct, they are powerful. Perhaps powerful enough to shelter someone for at least a time.
That would be very useful.
It would indeed.
As the curse can never be fulfilled. Not since Open passed.
Yes. I am sure that a combination of my concoctions and perhaps the aid of this devil would be sufficient to shield you at least somewhat.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the first step is one, I guess come up with the concoction, and two, make it so she can't spy on us.
Mm-hmm.
Out of character moment, don't you have like advantage or a bonus for rolls made when you cook for someone that like that you hate or something?
So
I have one roll. I have the one roll.
what Levi has is a token essentially that they can cash in or whenever a meal is used for a betrayal. I have not
that's what's
said
going on.
what that token does, but it is a blessing granted to Levi by Levistus, the arch prince of betrayal.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
if you ever
Like, I don't know
want
if I
to cook a meal of betrayal, you can definitely do that. I will say, if you want to hide poison in a meal, that's definitely doable.
Yeah.
Like, if we could paralyze, we would definitely, like, whether or not we can lessen the effects of the curse, Ambrosia needs to be incapacitated.
Yeah. What we tell Emrys about it?
I feel like that would help with the betrayal factor.
Okay.
And
Like, we would
it's
tell-
not like
we would
she
tell
would turn against us. I feel like she'd just be like, "Oh, sick, pleasant surprise."
Question.
So I,
This is
Yeah.
also a character thing. We're killing the grandfather.
Great grandpa.
Great
Well, I don't even know if
grandpa.
it's exactly killing at this point. But
Well,
After we
well,
slaughtered them.
Aubery, you have been, as far as everyone who knows stuff about curses, the only way to get rid of the issue with Pleasant Valley would be to get rid of him. Because
yeah,
Aubery seems to be the one who trapped Pleasant Valley to begin with. Which the
actually,
only two options are either to make him choose to not have Pleasant Valley be trapped anymore, or to kill him.
but
yeah, that is actually the question. What caused him to lock down Pleasant Valley? That's actually a question we never sort of
I mean-
got to figure it out.
it could have just been impulsive. Like, it could have just been, feral thoughts of just like, how could we avoid
Let me
bullshit ever
summarize
happening
some
again?
stuff. Because
Okay.
there is some stuff in here that technically has... I have more or less revealed some bits and pieces. Not the exact reason, but first, Emrys thought that everything happened because Aubery realized Sorath left. So Emrys that's not the actual reason. That is part of why Emrys was so fucking furious, because they imagined, wow, Sorath left, didn't tell me anything, they're rebelling, and now all of this is happening, and Aubery is like fucking panicky and shit. However, when Levi went in and dreamt about what happened to make Pleasant Valley trapped, what you experienced was you as a person walked into the keep, and Aubery realized you were there and was trying to hunt you, but right when you were about to be taken down, there was an angelic presence within you. You're not sure if the person in the keep was an angel, or if they had an angel with them, or if they were part angel.
Well, I saw wings on my character. Because I remember you said something about...
You saw wings on your character. You're not sure if you were an actual angel, or if you were half angel, or if you were together, like, working with an angel. Like, Sorath had angelic wings back when they were working with Raguel. They could manifest angelic wings. So just because Levi knows that. So, like, angel wings either means they are an angel, they are part angel, or they have a guardian angel. But as far as you could tell from that dream, that person sneaking in and something about them having an angel or being an angel was the thing that made Aubery shut everything down, lock everything down. And from entering, you know that Aubery hates angels and perceives angels as the greatest threat to Pleasant Valley at all.
And Levi would
Didn't-
ponder, how did the angel hide itself? Because Henri, when Levi walked in, right,
Yeah.
attacked immediately. It was
Yeah.
immediate.
So
So
Well,
how did they?
like Sorath had a patron angel, so the angel could just be like a patron. Like I'm pretty sure Gil was saying that Raguel has several other.
yeah, Gil
Yeah.
revealed that Sorath is not the only warlock
And that one of
Raguel
them-
was giving power to.
Is in Pleasant Valley,
Yeah.
correct?
That they're
So
yeah.
maybe something happened with the person that Raguel is a patron of in Pleasant Valley, and maybe Raguel planted an idea in their head, so they were gonna go to the keep, or maybe something happened. The second that they're like, oh yeah, there was an angelic presence, I was like, Raguel. Well, I was also trying to think about when Sorath like stopped being involved with Raguel, but that was like
That was much later.
the biggest catalyst was Label, but then
Yeah.
much later was
Sorath
like
left Pleasant Valley significantly before, like months before
Yeah.
the valley closed down,
Yeah.
and Sorath cut ties with Raguel like a month after. So it wasn't
Yeah.
that. It was
Yeah.
apparently someone else in the keep. Either was an angel,
Yeah.
either Raguel went to the keep, or someone connected to,
Yeah.
or perhaps another angel. You guys know there are other angels. Dugal also did elaborate to Sorath that Raguel specifically was the angel said to have helped Aubery trap the devil.
Okay. So
All right. Back to my question.
Mhm.
Why are we killing? I mean, why are we incapacitating Emrys after killing?
Oh, I don't
the
think
devil?
we need to. We just need to
Aubery. No, Ambrosia.
it's mostly Ambrosia.
Ambrosia, my bad.
Because Ambrosia,
Bec-
the two reasons are Ambrosia is an untrustworthy, dangerous psychopath, and also she wants Aubery's blood.
Okay.
For an undisclosed reason.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that,
And-
like, if they're both here and we go over there, like, are we expecting to see them there too?
Well, the thing is, Aubery is in Cœurzunft. If you remember, there's the manor, and then there's a bridge, an old rickety rope bridge, and an old castle keep that they said don't go. That's where Aubery lives. So if you guys are going to kill Aubery, you need to go there. So they are right next door. And
Okay, never mind.
Ambrosia really apparently wants Aubery's blood, and the reason Emrys hid the amulet inside of the puzzle box was because she didn't want Ambrosia to keep trying to get Aubery's blood, because she didn't think she could allow Ambrosia to do that.
All right,
Yeah.
that made
So
much more
whenever-
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever we have to fight Obeli, it's ideal that Ambrosia is incapacitated for at least well after the fight, so we can
Yeah.
dispose of the blood
I-
somehow, or at least hide it.
Yeah.
I also think we should look around. Maybe like because there could be an angel messing around here. That could be causing
And
trouble.
it's very likely that there is, because
Yeah.
I mean Raguel's already like tampered with
Mhm.
this valley before.
Yeah.
So I wonder if for some reason Raguel wanted things to be sealed off. Not sure.
Angel, tag clock. Do you have an angel?
No, those things are like gross.
All right, that's one guy down.
The valley
Oh.
also was locked down before Taklook entered.
Yeah.
So
Well, I never changed. Also, earlier you were gone, but I was saying that you should have Tack look at Mr. Clean and Scrub Daddy.
Yeah, because Takluk was the one who
Because
gave
they're
you those
cool.
axes, but you've upgraded them since then.
I spin them around and I show them Tackler.
Takluk takes them, analyzes them, and goes, "Oh, that. Taxi. There." Hands them back to you.
Yeah, it's kind of high.
Yeah. Where'd you get this enchantment? That's...
In a ditch.
fair enough. Yeah. So, just to recap the ideas. Potentially, you guys might need to incapacitate Ambrosia. Maybe you will do it through a meal of betrayal?
Yeah.
If so, Gin, perhaps with the help of Anton, could make a poison. So that's an ingested poison. To put in Ambrosia's food.
Got it.
I also think maybe we should. How do we find angel followers?
Hmm?
Like, well, people who deal with, like, what angel?
So
Sin
there
around.
are 3 ways you can think of like angel influence. There is someone could just be an angel in disguise. This is very unlikely because that would mean someone would have had to do a complicated summoning ritual to summon an angel in the same way you would have to summon a devil, which is not common, and people don't tend to summon angels because angels don't help you. People summon devils because a devil will make a trade with you. Angels are just assholes.
Turns out I'm an angel.
Yeah,
You can
I'm
make
an
a
angel
deal
too.
with an angel and become, like, essentially a warlock, or in which case you would look for hints of holy magic that doesn't have a ritual aspect. Or someone could be an Asimar, aka they were born with a guardian angel, in which case you can physically see that on the fact that they will have they can have a halo, they can have wings, they can have like an ethereal glow to them.
Smell virgin on you.
I can pretend to be an angel because I glow.
Yeah. Yeah. So if someone has made a deal with an angel for power, then the only way to tell that would be when they are using magic.
As a fun fact, Sorath used to be an SMR.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For chat.
Yeah. Before Sora abandoned their old patron.
Yeah, Sarth. I don't think Sarth told us, so we don't know this.
Yeah, we know. I don't think we know this, do we? Yeah.
Y'all don't know the details of Sorath's old patron. I think Sorath did explain that they were like there were issues with their magic, but not really beyond anything beyond that. Sorath did say that, and they did explain that Dugal has helped fix things, but y'all don't really know anything beyond that.
Yeah, if they're going to hiding, it's gonna be kind of hard to find them. Unless they attract them to us.
Mm-hmm.
They might be interested in the idea of us taking down Aubrey.
Yeah, so maybe they'll
Potentially.
approach us.
Let's say, unless y'all have anything else you want to cover in this conversation, with Takluk and stuff, I can have the boat get to Kimper if you guys want.
Get to Kemper.
To Kimper.
So the
Kimper.
boat will arrive on the second day to Kimper.
Kimper.
It arrives late-ish, not at the very end of the day, but you guys get to Kimper, can get to the manor in Kimper, settle down, and I'll say just a shy bit over an hour later, another ship will arrive with Anselm and a lot of Anselm's personal staff. And they will also head to the manor and be there.
Did we tell him right away, or? Well, then I'll be happy about seeing Tackle first.
You guys can tell them the details today. You can wait until tomorrow if you want to have Tacklock deal with the doggy tag on Levi before you talk with Ansel.
I probably should. Really should.
So in that case, Anselm will arrive, will spend some time, probably ask to spend some time in private with Tacklock so they can talk.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna guess none of you will have anything particular against.
I'm against it. No. You can't allow it. You can't allow my lover to talk to somebody else like that. It's canonical now.
Okay, so Anselm will be there, talk with Tacklock for a little bit. Tacklock will then eventually just go back to sleep again. Get a lot of rest. They probably slept a decent bit of the rest of the boat trip, and then we'll probably head to bed early after having some more proper food. And then hopefully they'll be doing better in the morning. I will now, even though Shell is not here, will mention to the rest of the party that Anselm will have brought Harjit a gift. Explained mostly in a thank you for helping me with the communication thing. Sorath would be able to, without even needing like insight checks, be able to grasp that Anselm is essentially trying to give Target more resources, both to be more in line with the party, and also because Anselm's like, hey, if you're helping out, I don't want funding to be your issue. And Anselm will give Target a personal gift of what was it? Yes, we'll give a personal gift of 16,000 gold to Target. So around half of what the rest of the party got individually for the Sudwell Beast, but a decent chunk of money. So
So he has a reason to actually have gold instead of all of us have gold and he doesn't.
Yes, it is both because me as the DM is like, oh, well, y'all have a shit ton of money, this guy doesn't, and there is no lore reason for why Target would have a shit ton of money to begin with.
Yeah.
And also because if there's one thing Anselm has learned from all of his mistakes as an adventurer, it's maybe it's a good idea to make sure everyone in the party has a more equal position to bargain from. Because that was kind of part of what caused all the issues for Anselm's traveling party. Essentially, Anselm was the one with all the money, all the resources. So his say had more value in the party because everyone essentially had to get stuff approved by him because he was the one paying for everything. That will be a nice little surprise for Shell later. other than
Yeah.
that, you guys will be in Kemper, probably vibing a little. And unless there's something that y'all feel is important that you do this day, we can just head night and we can start the next session in the morning in Kemper. Because I'm guessing that you guys aren't going to immediately speedrun in morning to just get out, and rather take like maybe a day to get rid of Levi's doggy tag tracker, make a plan, gather some info, talk things out.
Oh, are you getting watch or something?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch.
When Levi put on the necklace, when Ambrosia said put on the fucking necklace,
Why did you do that?
because Ambrosia said put on the fucking necklace, and Levi was like, well, if I don't do this, you probably are going to kill me. So Levi put it on.
Yeah, I mean that's most likely what's gonna happen in that situation.
Yeah.
Why do you always put
No, the person who obviously just kills for sport would not kill you. It's like obviously just like because it's morally wrong.
Ambrosia doesn't
just
kill for
kill.
sport. Ambrosia kills when it benefits her even a tiny slight bit. And it would probably benefit her to get rid of the one person who keeps disobeying her orders.
Yeah.
True.
And the one who keeps causing trouble in her mansion.
Yeah. Ambrosia had plenty of reasons to kill Levi if she wanted to. So
No.
Really? I'm sure she could find a reason. She was really passionate about it.
Alright.
Yeah.
Honk shoe. Me.
Hog shoe. Me.
Me. Are we doing one more roll?
If you want to do one more roll, go for it.
Dream.
Alright.
Dream.
Alright, this time at 80, I'm gonna hit the 20% right here.
Wrong direction.
Definitely hit that 20%. The wrong direction.
Fuck.
Wrong direction. You should go the one direction.
Real.
Real. Imagine if I got all the way down to 0. I might actually roll this time multi.
Yeah,
That would actually be insane.
that would be.
The D100 is 250 dice, right? So the D100 is 250 dice, right?
The D100
No.
is two 10-sided dice, and the first dice determines the last number, and the other dice determines the first number.
Okay.
Imagine a 50-sided die.
So you could get one, right? Is it possible?
Yes, you can roll a 1. It's the lowest you can roll a D100.
Okay, so you just need a -1 in dreaming, and then you get a 0.
So, no, the thing is, every single time Levi doesn't get a dream, the dream number that Levi's rolling against goes down by 5. It starts to 100, and if Levi rolls 100, he gets to control the dream. If he doesn't get the 100, it goes down to 95, and then so on and so forth.
Is the 100 all zeros? Is that what 100
Yes.
is on a D?
Yeah.
Okay.
The all zeros essentially represent, because the 0 on a D10 represents the 10, and then the double 0 on the D100 technically represents the 100 spot. So, yeah.
Okay.
The max number. There are a lot of people who believe that the D100, when you roll all zeros, that's a 0, but that would mean that it's impossible to roll 100 on a D100. So,
Makes sense.
And you can't roll 0 on any other die.
Yeah, dice
Unless
don't
it
go
has-
to 0.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that case, I did roll dreams, but not for y'all.
Poor target.
Night attack clock.
Not targets. If Mel is there next session,
Crystal?
we're gonna start with a
Oh,
crystal dream.
Crystal!
Yeah!
Oh shit. Let's go.
Can we get
Women about lesbian Lex.
Is that a fun
That's
dream?
being set.
I am not
No,
gonna tell
no,
you
no.
guys anything.
Lesbian Lex.
Resident what?
Eating at Lex.
Yeah, at least tell it was about 1 in 1,000.
Eyes.
No. It wasn't anything crazy, but it is a dream for Crystal. And Crystal is Crystal the one that had the least dreams? I think most people have had a couple of dreams.
I think I've had like not my like rover dreams. I think I've had like what 3?
You've had. So I know that Crystal has
Had a
had
lot of-
2. I think Guinness had 3.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Levi has had 2, I believe, because
Not including
you've been rolling your normal, like your special dreams the entire time, which means I've rolled way less for you. Then Sorath has had, I believe, the most dreams. But to be fair, some of the Sorath dreams were not rolled. There are moments where a dream trigger happens in story for certain people. Same thing has happened with Flinken. Flinken has had a lot of dreams, and there's been moments where, like, okay, a thing happened, I need Flinken to have a dream, so Flinken will have a dream for story reasons.
Yeah.
I think the person that has had the most dreams that were not because of a story trigger is Gunther. So if you ignore all of the dreams where I say, this person will have a dream now because the narrative demands it, Gunther has had more dreams.
Diagnosed with.
I would love to say the reason people are having these special dreams is because of Levi.
You
Because you're
said
near
that
Levi.
Gunther is a dreamboat.
Yeah.
Oh,
True.
I've only almost died once from a dream. So there's that.
I've already that was from a dream.
Yeah, everyone has like a weird thing with their dreams in this campaign, and
Is it because of Levi?
I think it's cool.
It's technically not because of Levi. It was something I decided a lot earlier, before you said Levi was going to be a dream character.
Boy.
I love doing dreams. The idea of tying a special power to the dreams was something that I decided way back when I decided that I wanted someone in the party to dream of the White Marble Gate.
Yeah. And Gunther got that.
And Gunther ended up being the one doing that, and then I had a moment of like, well, it's kind of shit if Gunther's the only one with like a cool supernatural thing in their dreams. So I ended up like adding extra weird supernatural things to everyone's dreams.
Yeah.
And
Crystal in them.
yeah.
Sora's
Like
always
Crystal and a
fucking
white
ends up
dragon.
going home.
So
It's fucked.
Sorath's dreams are special because so the manifestation of Sorath's curse essentially lives in there.
Because.
Gin has, and this is something that's really funny for me because Gin's dreams were always designed to be Gin would see wherever Gin physically was, they would see that they would dream of what it was like at its peak. Like Gin gets to see the heyday of past civilizations.
Hey yo, peak.
Hey,
And
geek.
stuff like that. And
I think it's pretty cool.
yeah,
It's
and
Gin's peak.
Wait, does that mean your nightmares you see at the worst?
yeah, Guinness had one nightmare, and that was when you guys were in Nordtal, and Gin watched the world end in golden flames. Gin watched the end of the world. And from what Gin's dream, this like the way it was like Gin saw it was that it was already day, but the second sun rose, and following the path of the sun that moved quickly across the sky was this like wall of golden flame that just eradicated everything.
It wasn't someone in front of it guiding it.
There was no one. You just saw the sun, and the sun looked like there was like a person curled up inside it.
Okay.
And
I wonder who that could be.
and
Just a
Burger
little.
Queen?
I mean, that's not an issue that our campaign character solve.
Just
It's
a
something
little
else.
Eve.
I can tell you guys that is technically a teaser for future content in future campaign. So
Campaign 4. 20 years later.
I kind of already was thinking about the character I was thinking.
yeah, this I can tell you guys right now. That stuff is for campaign 3, the one that's about the war between angels and devils.
Let's go.
That's going to be an element there. Turns out the war that almost destroyed the world, starting again, might threaten to destroy the world.
Stay tuned 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Maybe even 20.
Yeah.
Depends on how long
that's true.
campaign 2 takes.
Yeah, it depends on how long campaign 2 takes. Also,
Depends on how long campaign 1 takes.
I know, right? We've been stuck in Pleasant Valley for 2 years.
if this campaign takes 5 years, and I think campaign 2 will be shorter, because there's going to be less
Famous
stuff.
last words.
There's less stuff in campaign 2 because campaign 1 is designed where every single character has a full story arc in an entire location that is just theirs. Campaign 2 is not designed to be played like that. Campaign 2 will be way more about a group dealing with the
That's
cosmic
what you
horror.
think.
Yeah, that's what you think. I'm a dog. I get to do whatever I want.
So I have way more
Is that
of
Timmy?
a control
Little
of
Timmy's
how
trying to well?
many things will happen in that campaign.
No, Timmy.
So I at least don't think it will be longer than this one.
It's gonna be longer. That's
Uh,
true.
It could be
Campaign
twice as long.
3, I have
Twice
no
as long.
fucking clue how long will be. So the
Chat.
main issue, I think, is if
never gonna
campaign
see
1
campaign
and
3.
campaign 2 together take long enough that maybe I have a family by the time we get to campaign 3. That might take a while, because I'm not sure how well I will be able to run games at this pace if I am raising toddlers and working a 9 to 5 at the same time. It's
Skill issue.
yeah.
issue.
Anyways, are we rating someone so I can play League?
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, the thing I was talking about, I was just going through all like the dream things. Levi does not have a particularly like special thing in Levi's dreams. Beyond the Golden Flames were a thing. They were like a guide. The Golden Flames always referred back to Levi's past, but the special thing in Levi's dream is Levi, because Levi
Whoa.
fucks with the dream. And then Gunther, of course, has the White Marble Gate, which is quite literally the entrance to the Realm of Death. And then Flinken, in their dreams, had contact with the Shadowfell. And then Target, y'all don't know, because they haven't had
We
dream
need
yet.
more data.
And then
Dreaming about
Crystals.
dicks every single day.
Crystal's stuff, like Crystal's dream, is tied to like ancestral stuff. Crystal dreams of things related to the past of her clan, which is why the dragon that hunts their clan showed up in Crystal's nightmare, even though y'all were like out in the ocean, so the dragon would never be there. But Crystal's dreams are tied to that clan. And the second dream Crystal had, they went back into the grotto and saw their grandmother, but didn't recognize anyone else. And it's like, oh, this is a previous generation. And in the dream, Crystal was like tried to get their grandmother's attention, and then said her name, Ivy Whistle, and then Grandma turns to Crystal, who's just passively observing in the dream, and goes, Ivy Whistle, I like that name. And then the dream ended, implying that Crystal, like, dream walking into the past was what caused Ivy Whistle to take up the name Ivy Whistle, because clearly she was still grandma in so far back in the past that Crystal couldn't recognize the faces of anyone else in the tribe. So, yeah.
I can't wait to tell Walrus that we named our group Vor. Or our boat Vor.
Yeah. You guys can save shit or poop for campaign 2.
Now we'll get another thing that we get to name.
Yeah. Well, you never named the carriage.
You never named the carriage, but you
Ew.
did name a Tomatolio Shart, so you are on theme there as well. Okay. Who to torment?
A roll is like
Torment.
Okay. Back to playing Wonder Stuff. Was that the game? That was the game I saw. Was it Lion playing? Right?
Question mark, exclamation point.
Ganon's doing art.
Ganon is live.
True. I don't think I have ever raided Ganon, so I couldn't do that.
They also might still have live requests open.
Ooh. Yeah,
For
that sounds
art.
fun. I am down to raid them.
And they're playing Jokapon later.
Feel free to make up a raid message if y'all want to make up a raid message. As usual, I have not thought of any. So
Vor.
yeah, that's fine.
Why,
If y'all want to use my emotes, just unlock them. It's not like my channel points are used for much else, unless Line has used every single one of their channel points, in which case, just skill issue, bro.
Choose an
I use
emote.
half of my
Let's
points.
do the Pog one because it looks the most like it could be for 4.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna start this raid. Hope everyone has a good time. I'm gonna go to the stream. And thank y'all for session. Thanks to people for vibing and watching session. And yeah. Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Wait, hold on.
And gay sex. Thanks for watching.
I actually do feel like part of the thing we're
There we
missing
go.
is actually trying to fight this. Oh wait, did Ian? I want to say that.
This
I'm
is
gonna
on
end now
board.
that I have copied the raid message. If y'all wanna,
Goodbye.
Yeah,
Penis.
Bye. Penis.
bye.
Penis.
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 Or
Some of the
Penis.
penises got in there.